안녕하세요. 저는 힙합 개냥이 정상현입니다.
Please, no more sexy.
The manipulation. Why were they on top of each other? Alpha Drive 1. Kinda poopy.
Hi, I'm back. So yes, another survival show has started and I'm ready to talk about Boys Planet 2 or Boys 2 Planet. The show was originally supposed to have two debut groups, one in China and one in Korea, except mnet completely scrapped that idea and there were rumors that it was supposed to be Yuehua who was controlling the C group, but they had some disagreement and now that entire idea was thrown away. And I'm really sad because I wish there were two debut groups. That would have been so interesting to see the two of them working together and doing like little collabs and you know. I definitely think getting rid of the Chinese debut group was super unfair to the Chinese trainees, considering there were 80 trainees over there also waiting to debut, but now there's 160 in total, which is crazy. But anyways, mnet is always unfair, so let's move on to episode 1. First of all, I love the mentors, especially Hyorin and Kani, because they are so funny. Hyorin is an amazing vocalist. We all know if you've heard her music, then you know that she is amazing. And she was part of Sister, which was an amazing vocalist group. And then we have Kani, who was a famous choreographer who worked with Michael Jackson and Beyonce. So we all know she's going to be a great dance teacher. Both of them had the most funny reactions during the entire show, and I was laughing every time they were on screen. I was a little shocked when they announced that no star means immediate elimination, but then it turns out it was not that bad of an idea. However, I still wish that some of them got a little more of a chance to, you know, develop and get training because that's what they came here for. But anyways, now let's talk about the performances that stood out to me, both good and bad. MC Endy's performance of Bang 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 was not good. If you watch their debut music video, Ice Age, you can feel the passion they have for singing and performing, but on this audition, they were not good at all, and I'm surprised that Bang Joon-hyuk actually survived because he was not great. They did not do as good as I thought they would have done because I've seen their other performances and they were crazy on stage and they did not live up to their name. Then we have the 15-year-old Cube trainees who performed Boy in Love, and it's always the younger trainees that shock me because they feel so free on stage. It's like they have less burden compared to the older trainees who feel like they have no time and they need to debut like right away. Now, the trainee that a lot of people were looking forward to was, of course, Kim Gun-woo because he is the K center and he performed Sweat by Zero Base One. And of course, out of all songs, Sweat, really mnet, out of all the other good songs that they have, I personally do not like this song. And his performance of it was not outstanding. His vocals were okay, and I don't know how he got All-Star, but anyways. If you read all of the Korean comments, they're all calling him Aircon Man because of his controversy that suddenly popped up on the first day of the show, and we're not gonna talk about that. Clearly, he must have done amazing on the Signal song performance for him to become the K center, so I will leave my judgment for that when it comes out. Choco One performed Hip by Mamamoo and they were so good, let me tell you. Yeom-ye-chan, he is amazing. He's a good rapper and dancer, and if you watched him on Project 7, you already know he is always into it when he performs. And I really hope that he gets more love on this show because he was cut real quick from Project 7. Next, we have the FNC trainees performing a To Us song. And oh my god, I was so excited because Choi Li-bu, the guy who was very cute, very visual, and turns out when he opened his mouth, I realized that he is a visual. Because he's not a good singer. And you know what? Maybe he will become better. But he is indeed a visual. Now, we have two trainees who performed Baekhyun's Candy, and let me tell you, mnet really set them up because I don't think any trainee would willingly choose to perform a Baekhyun song because we all know Baekhyun sings amazing and nobody can replicate how he performs on stage. Even experienced idols do not choose to do his song covers, so this was a setup for real. To be honest, I was looking forward to this performance because of Pang Nuri, because I watched his PR videos and he was hilarious. And then he opened his mouth and we all know where it went. That boy cannot sing or dance, and he only trained for 2 months. And we can tell. Pang Nuri made a fool out of himself 4 times on stage. The first was doing a terrible performance of Candy. The second was calling himself a visual position. The third was doing a ballad song for a challenge to get another evaluation. And the fourth was begging for a 1 star so that he could stay on the show. And he blamed his nerves on doing bad on stage. That was not the reason. You just don't got the skills, boy. I'm sorry, you deserve to go home. Mnet was cruel for even letting him pass the pre-auditions to get onto the show. Like, that was mean of them. Next, we have 4 trainees who performed Here I Am, which was the signal song for Boys Planet. And let me tell you, they did not do good either. At the end of the performance, one of them ran to the side, threw off their jacket, did 3 flips in the air, and then the music cut. And nothing. All of them just stood there awkwardly, and then the mentors, they were all like, wow. And then, oh, that's the end? Yeah! Why? Whoever composed that performance was evil for doing that to the trainees, because they need to be fired for whatever they told the trainees to do. That was not good. Who said that was good? I laughed so hard at the mentors' reactions. Now we have the trainee from Daegu who performed Chick Chick Boom by Stray Kids, and that was hilarious. Oh my god. He reminded me of My House from the first season. Literally everybody in the stadium was laughing and so happy after watching his performance. I don't understand why he did not get a 1 star, because making people laugh and making them happy is part of being an idol, and he did that. But he accepted the 0 star happily and just left the stage. Like, bring him back just for that. You will be missed, Baek Jae-hyun. Finally, the performance many people were tuning in for, Sangwon and Leo, and they performed No Doubt by ENHYPEN, which we all saw from the teaser, and they did good, of course. Leo is an amazing vocalist, and I'm so happy that the mentors actually mentioned that he's main vocalist material. So I'm looking forward to how he sings in the future performances. Now, the funniest part, of course, is when Sangwon kicked his shoe off in the middle of their performance and he almost cursed. Definitely good, but I don't know about All-Star. The episode ends teasing Yumeki's performance, and we all know that he got a 1 star based on previous teasers, so I assume the man cannot sing at all. I mean, he even mentioned in his audition that he thinks singing and dancing together is difficult, and he got a vocal coach for the first time ever because he has never sang before. So I assume he is not a good singer at all, and he only got a 1 star because he's an amazing dancer. I'm sure that he will still debut because his fandom is huge. With that said, I love Boys to Planet, and people take these intro performances way too seriously. Like, just let them be. They all have potential to grow, and that's literally the point of why the trainees are there. To train and get better so they can debut. All the trainees have potential, and that's why I love watching survival shows, because we get to see their growth together and we choose who is the best. At the end of the show, we got an interim ranking, and I was super surprised to see Masato because he literally didn't even perform, and he's the guy who looks like Im Siwan from Squid Games. Well, let me know what you guys think about Boys to Planet episode 1. Who are your 8 picks, and what was your favorite performance? I'm already locked in and ready for this season, and to be honest, I'm more excited for Boys to Planet Group C than I am for Group K. Hello, I'm back to talk about episode 1 of Boys Planet C, and I'm so excited because this episode lived up to my expectations, and it was so good. He Jong-shin really got a sexy complimation made by Mnet, and I was so annoyed after a minute of hearing the same word over and over again. Sexy, sexy, sexy a million times. But I guess it worked out for him since he got screen time and it made sense. I remember him now as the sexy guy. And then we got the 2 trainees kissing. Like, really? Almost kissing, my bad. Almost. but not really. I think both of them know that you have to do something bold to get screen time on a boys planet because both of them have experience on previous survival shows and now they know that they have to do something bold because otherwise they will get no screen time. And then we had the master intros and Shouting showed up and she is just so beautiful. That is all I have to say. She is gorgeous. Also, I was shocked when they showed the same masters from Planet K were also in Planet C. So that edit of the trainees seeing each other from both planets was not real. Why did I fall for that, mnet? Anyways, the first team was the sexy guy doing a performance, and I don't really remember much of it. I don't think they did that great, but somehow he got 2 stars, but I thought they were all 1 stars for real. But why is the Chinese version of Boys Planet so much more cruel? Because if you have a 0 star, you have to leave immediately through the center door. But for the K Planet, they just left the same way, through the side. That is so mean. Next, we had the Shanghai team performing Devil's Game by Zero Base One, and I thought their vocals were pretty decent, especially Bowen. Of course, he was the one that people thought was very good, and then I saw some people hating on them for whatever reason. After their performance, we got a shot of Hyolyn saying, "Looks were part of the evaluation?" And then Justice says, "Yeah, I've been including them the entire time." And she says, "Oh, I haven't done that at all." And you know what? I agree with both of them. It should be kind of half and half though. Next, we got Sun Jiayang, and he is so adorable. If you watched him on Starlight Boys, you know he is literally like a little bean. Adorable. His team performed Pump It Up by Boy Story, and I didn't think the song was great, and I didn't think the performance was amazing either, but somehow Sun Jiayang got All-Star. I don't know how. His vocals were not outstanding, but yes, he was very cute. I thought at most maybe 2 stars, but All-Star is very strange to me. To be honest, he did not improve that much from Starlight Boys, considering that it was very recent last year that he was on Starlight Boys. And then there was the Ningbo team with a famous actor who played with Jackie Chan and June and The H from 17. And then he messed up on his performance, which was really sad because he has this great career and then he messed up at the wrong moment. But he still did pretty good for his dancing and everything. And at least he got a 1 star. So he survived. And then we got the scene of the 16-year-old trainee guy who said he misses his mom and he was starting to get teary-eyed. And the mentor, 1 star, he asked him, "When was the last time you saw her? Send her a video message right now." And then he did. He started crying and he said he saw his mom yesterday. This is reminding me of when a mom leaves their child for kindergarten and the child starts crying. Like yesterday. Really? But I'm sure he had some difficult time since he's living abroad and he is very, very young. And then we had the Inco trainees, and Sen was so amazing for being 5 months of a trainee compared to the other guy who trained for 2 years and his vocals were not very good at all. And then he got eliminated. There was a little intermission break in between and we saw Jack imitating eating a pizza because he was so hungry. That guy is hilarious. Now we are on to the highlight of this episode, which is Soon Hung Yu. Oh my god. He was so nervous that he couldn't even introduce himself properly. His backstory literally pierced my soul. He debuted in 2022 with a Nugu group and they didn't do well. And then he went on a year hiatus and they disbanded. And then his company threw him away, so he had financial troubles and he had to do multiple part-time jobs. And he had 12-hour shifts. And then he said all that he knows how to do is sing and dance. And without it, he doesn't know what. Literally stabbed me right in the heart. It was so sad. During his pre-auditions, he did so many extra things. Like right when the staff was saying, "Okay, good job," he raised his hand and said, "I can show you something else. I can show you something else." You can tell he is so desperate. And it really, really hit me in the feels. He said he came thinking that this is his last chance and he will give up his dream if he doesn't make it this time. just run me over with a train right now. So he sings Never from Produce 101, and he did so amazing, but as soon as the beat dropped and he started doing this little dance, I started bawling my eyes out because it was just so emotional for me. And I was just like Justice, I was crying because it was just too much. I was so proud of him, but I couldn't focus because I was crying. I really hope he debuts. Next, we have the two trainees who performed Naughty Boy by Pentagon. Hyorin's face trying not to laugh in front of them was too much for me. And the Bang 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 guy, oh my god. All the trainees. Oof. If I was on stage and the masters started laughing in front of my face, I would have just said, open that center door right now. I'm leaving. It's honestly so amazing that all of them just went through the complete performance without stopping. I give them kudos for that because they are braver than me. And then we got the Australian trainee Jack, who asked the other trainees with experience what happens if you need a poop during the show. And then he says, please have no expectations right before his stage starts. But he did amazing with Tap by Taeyong. But goddamn, he is really weird, but hilarious in a weird way. Why was he Asian squatting and then waiting for the announcement of his evaluation and then lying on the floor and then screaming, and oh, he was a lot. Finally, we have Anshin who did Fever with Jahao, and they both did very amazing. I love them, and I'm so glad that they got all stars. Every time Anshin is on screen, I'm just blown away by how beautiful and handsome he is. In the end, we have the teaser for Boy Story, and I'm so curious as to what happened to them because they released a song last year and then suddenly they went on hiatus and like half of the members said they were going to start college and study abroad, and now like half of them are here, so I assume that JYP just gave up on them. The youngest debuted at the age of 9, which is insane, and JYP, you should be ashamed for that. Now, in the teaser for the next episode, we find out that no stars still get eliminated, and that means there have been 2 eliminations without public voting, and you can still vote for eliminated trainees on the app, which is absolutely ridiculous. And it's so cruel because mnet made all those trainees go to those PR videos and those events and act like they're still on the show. Please vote for me, even though they're already eliminated. I think that's so cruel. If you haven't seen the list of rumored trainees who are eliminated, which is turning out to be true, you should look that up if you don't want to waste your vote. Hello, I'm back to talk about episode 2 of Boys to Planet for Planet K. And let's talk about how the episode starts off with Connie saying that she saw Junso in a BL. Hilarious. I love her so much. And finally, we have the last performance, which was Yumeki, and of course, everybody was so high in their expectations, and then he opened his mouth and we all knew that he could not sing. He did not do good at all, and he skipped some lines while doing this performance. And the editing killed me, because when they showed the shots of the trainees, they were all like, oh! So he got 1 star, which we all already knew. Now the trainees finally enter the dorms, and we find out that it's based on a hierarchy system, where the 1 stars have a 6-person room, the 2 stars have a 4-person room, and the all stars have a 2-person room, which is great. But for the others, that is literally insane, especially the 6-person room. The beds are lined up so close together, I don't even know how they could sleep comfortably. And they made them pack their things into boxes for the 2 stars and the 1 stars. What is the point of that? It's like mnet thinks they're there for an actual survival show in the wilderness where they have to go and hunt their food or something. Like, why did they make them pack their bags into a tiny brown box? That was so unnecessary. And of course, we have a random dog that was introduced into the show called Chunbe, and the dog gets more screen time than actual trainees who are, you know, fighting for their dreams. The only cute moment was the trainees serenading the dog with the song, but that's it. Now the vocal training with Hyorin made me laugh so much because she was telling the trainees, sing with confidence, sing louder, and they're all singing like tiny, solar, solar. Now we have the dance practice, and I cannot believe Sho has so much audacity and confidence, even though he's a 1-month trainee. He said in his personal interview that he could give better idol performances than Yumeki, who's a dance teacher for idols. As soon as he opened his mouth talking about teaching the other trainees, I knew Mnet got what they wanted. They got their villain right there. Another trainee literally pointed out that he was dancing the wrong choreo and teaching the other trainees the wrong steps. And I would have shut up right then and there, and I would have let the actual dance teacher, Yumeki, help all the trainees. But he continued. And then we saw Masato and his little storyline about struggling to keep up. And he said he felt bad for taking the practice time from the other 2 stars because they kept helping him, like Junso, the leader of the 2-star group. And so he went to steal the practice time of the 1 stars. I just don't understand why he got so much screen time, even though they cut his audition performance. But of course, it's because he's top in rankings because of his visuals. Now we have a little cutscene where the trainees talk to their parents or their friends, and I'm surprised that Mnet let this happen so early. It's like they're speed running some of the stuff that happened in other seasons. But the one moment of Kim Daniel with his grandma, and his grandma said, "I have to see you succeed before I go to heaven." Oh my god! Right in the heart! Now we're on to the evaluations, and the show literally did terrible, but he was still praying for an all-star. I need some of his confidence, because what in the hell? And then we got Liu coming up, and Connie said, "I can feel the tension all the way from over here." And he said, "Thank you." And 1 star had to tell him, "No, that means we can feel that you're nervous." And he did not do good, of course. But people still voting for him, and he's loved and he has screen time. Now we see Yumeki's evaluation, and he got an all-star, even though his vocals were not there. But the master said, "Oh, he has so much potential, and he improved from before." Okay, finally, one of the better performances. We have Na Yoon-so, who literally said he has vocal nodules, which are painful and makes it terrible for singing. But he cried all day and said, "You know what? For this performance, I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna make it like I never cried and I don't even have vocal nodules." And he literally killed it. I cannot believe how professional and amazing he is, because I would have never known, judging just that performance, I would have never known he cried all day and had vocal nodules. I'm so glad that he got all-star because he deserved it. And we finally see Sangwon, and his evaluation was so strange to me because he did amazing dancing, I guess. And the vocals were not there. Even 1 star said his vocals were not good. But they delayed giving him his evaluation. And then we find out he got an all-star, even though he messed up. While other trainees who messed up for the exact same reason dropped in rank or stayed 2 or 1 star. Literally makes no damn sense. And that's literally rigging right there, but nobody's talking about it because everybody loves Sangwon and he's number 1 in the votes. He 100% should have been a 2-star. Finally, we see that only 52 trainees will survive the elimination from Planet K. And honestly, that is a decent number. Only 17 of them got eliminated compared to Planet C. But they made them pack all their suitcases and bring it with them to the announcement, which I think is so cruel because they couldn't even have a good minute to say goodbye to their friends. They had to leave right away afterwards. Overall, Mnet cut so many intro performances, which of course that's happened in previous seasons. But I'm surprised they cut the performance of Masato, who's literally in the top 8, and they give him so much screen time. I don't even understand why that's happening. Like, at least show his performance so, we could judge what he's doing. Literally, that damn dog, Chunbei, got more screen time than other trainees. And I just cannot. It's like the ducks from the previous season. Anyways, I'm so excited for the next episode because, of course, the planets are merging. But we can already tell that there's a lot of drama since we got Sho yelling at Hajong-shin for not speaking Korean. Like, bro, you've been training for 1 month. Hello, I'm back to talk about Boys to Planet C episode 2. And this episode was too much. Really, it got me so angry and so sad all at the same damn time. So let's talk about it. Mnet cut so many of the audition performances, I don't even know what to say. But I do have to talk about how the Boys Planet previous contestants did not do good at all. And I'm kind of surprised that after 2 years, they didn't improve. You know, Chai Jin-shin, Xian Hao, and Christian. Everyone before the show aired thought, how could they possibly be eliminated this early? Well, now we know. And then Dang Hong Hai, who was also on Boys Planet, he didn't do that great either, starting off, but at least he finished well and he had some glitter in his pocket. And then we had the Boy Story performance and He Shin-long talking about how, oh, he didn't know if all his effort was in vain because he worked so hard for 8 years and he didn't achieve much. And he compared himself to ITZY and Stray Kids and their achievements, and then Boy Story doesn't have much compared to them, and that really made me sad. But also JYP did not give them proper promotions at all. And this was the moment that I got so pissed because Jejung called Jia Hanyu ugly, old, and fat. And then Baek Young said, you guys are so great at dancing, but you would be better if you were skinny. Oh my god, I was so livid, I couldn't even. And then Kim Jejung, as Jia Hanyu was leaving the stage, said, hey, please lose weight. Oh my god. Jejung really said, I hope you guys get All-Star next time, implying that he didn't give them All-Star because they're fat, according to him. Now, every time I see them on screen, I'm just so annoyed, and I roll, oh. Why are the Korean mentors never normal with foreign trainees? I truly do not understand. What is their beef with them? And then we got the dorm reveals, and they were so much better than Planet K because 1 star got 4 beds, 2 stars got 3 beds, and all stars got 2 beds, but they still had a bunk bed. Honestly, still way better than Planet K because the 6-bed dorm was terrible. It was so cramped and awful. I don't even know how they would sleep in that. And now we are on to the signal song practice. And I am so surprised that Lin Lin, who is completely different from Project 7. I swear he was so much happier and bright and jumping around. And now on Boys 2 Planet, he is so sad and like his confidence is just gone. And that really is so sad to see. During the All-Star practice, we saw Sun Jae-yang failing to sing very good. And of course, the masters always have to be like, how did you get All-Stars? I can't believe we gave you All-Stars. And you can't even sing. Like, it's a setup. I swear it's a setup for the story because they're like, oh my god, we gave you such a high rank during the audition, but now you can't even sing this damn song that's way too high for so many of you normal people. Oh my god. And they're always angry about it. Like, you're the one who gave them the All-Star. Hello. When it was Anshin's turn during the practice, Kim Jae-jung said, I definitely think you're going to make a mistake during the evaluation. Why would you say that to a trainee? Literally, this is the practice. Shouldn't you be, I don't know, giving them some confidence so they can do well? Telling them they're gonna make a mistake is the worst thing to say ever, and that's probably all they're gonna think about, and that's why all of them were so nervous during the actual evaluation. Like, what is wrong with him? After the practice, we suddenly got them doing some family calls, and I was not ready for that. And Im Jack calling his mom saying, oh, I think I'm an idiot. And his mom said, yes, you are an idiot. And then Sunang Yu called his mom talking in Korean. I'm like, is his mom Korean? What? I was so confused. And finally, we went on to the signal song evaluations and the compilation of the bad. It was so funny. And the other trainees whispering to each other in between the evaluations like, oh, that guy's definitely a 0 star. Hilarious. I'm so glad that Lin Lin had a little redemption arc and that he got up to a 2 star because he was looking so depressed earlier and in the interviews. And Jang Fan finally getting the screen time he deserved because in Universe League, his previous survival show, he got nothing. He was non-existent. He was like a ghost. But here he's actually getting the screen time and love that he deserves. Because he did amazing even though he was sick. And the weirdest part for me is that all of them only got 3 days to practice this song. And he was sick on the first day. And miraculously on the 3rd day, he's like completely almost healed. I don't even know how that's possible. They got some like magic powder in the hospitals over there. His evaluation was good, and I'm happy that he got an all-star. And then we found out that 2 of the trainees just dropped out of the show because they thought it was too hard. Damn. Honestly, that would be me. But also, that guy has a big acting career back in China to fall back on, so perfectly fine for him. And then we saw Lee Zihao helping Sen read and learn the Chinese lyrics, and they were teaching each other their languages, and this is the kind of stuff that I want to see. Some heartwarming moments between the trainees, because that's what I like. Compared to the trainees on Planet K, in that preview, no. And then we have a little story of He Jong-shin and him not being comfortable around a lot of people, so he practiced alone, and people thought that he was not working hard at all because they never saw him practice. I was lying down comfortably watching He Jong-shin's signal song evaluation, and then Jejung said, "You were a no-star candidate, and I guess that didn't make you anxious enough because my expectations were so high for you and you did not do good." And they gave him a 1 star. Even though he did so good compared to some other trainees. Hello? He Jong-shin performed good enough for 2 stars, but they still gave him 1 star. And I just cannot understand these damn masters. In his personal interview, Jong-shin said he wants to quit the show after hearing that Jejung says he didn't work hard. Like, wow, way to destroy somebody's confidence as a master. At least we got some funny moments like Nyen Bo-hung and He Shin-long with their deep ass voices, and they're going, "Alright, see the fire." Loved the both of them. Woo! And then Im Jack was a mess, but I still love his personality. Anshin did not sing good, and he skipped lines, but he danced well, and they put his evaluation on hold. And then we found out that he got an all-star, of course, because he's the center for Planet C. And I am honestly so confused how he still got all-star, because he literally skipped singing. Like, what? And he didn't sing good during that evaluation. And I'm talking specifically about that evaluation because that's what they're evaluating. Just that moment. And he didn't do good. So how in the hell did he get all-star? It makes no sense. That's what you call rigging, because there's no way that he'd get an all-star if it was anybody else. But don't get me wrong, he's an amazing center in the Signal Song music video. So, there you go. I guess they rigged it right. If I was one of the trainees and I watched that performance live, knowing that Jo An-shin sang off-key, skipped lyrics, and only danced good, I would be very confused and pissed because that is clear favoritism. But nobody's talking about rigging with Jo An-shin because they love him. And then we got a shot of the trainees packing their bags and doing their thing, getting ready for the final evaluation for the Signal Song. And we had them going together in a group and talking and reminiscing about their journey on Boys 2 Planet. And one of the trainees said, "I think this is the first time I've ever been with people who love the same thing that I do. And I feel like I found a new home." Right in the heart. He got me. This kind of stuff makes me so sad. I got teary-eyed right at that moment. Just like them. This is why I love Planet C so much more than Planet K. Now tell me, why in the hell was the second evaluation a combination of both Planet C and Planet K? That makes sense why almost all of the C trainees got cut. Because clearly the K trainees were much more popular and they had better promotion from Mnet during the pre-show. Now we're on to the final evaluations, and somehow, for some reason, Dang Hong-hai went from an all-star to a 2-star. Makes no damn sense. I was so confused, I looked up his fan cam, and he has 145,000 views. Of course this is now, but still, that means he had a lot of views when the ranking was being evaluated and counted. And Chen Bo-wen stayed in all-star, even though his fan cam views are 16K. How does that make sense? Makes absolutely no sense. And Mnet is a snake, like always, because this ranking is ridiculous. Only 28 C trainees survived. How does that even make sense? Not even half of the trainees survived. Like, who decided that 28 was a good number? This is the second episode of the show and they cut off already more than half of the C trainees, and that really makes no damn sense. When the ending scene came on with Anshin shouting "Boys Planet" and then the rest of them saying "Let's go," I was like, is this the final episode? And literally, I guess it is the final episode for Planet C since they're merging. Every time that Kim Jae-jung shows up on screen, I just want to kimchi slap him on the damn face because everything he says is so mean and rude and cruel for no reason, unnecessary. He's supposed to be a master that's supposed to be cheering them up, you know, rooting for them, helping them, and he's not doing that at all. I just want to say, did the production team for Planet K have like a stick up their ass when they were producing this show? Because why is the team for Planet C so much better? I just like them way better. And according to live streams from C trainees, the C staff were completely cut off after the merger. So they only had the K staff there, and that's why I think the show is going to become more shitty. If y'all saw that preview for episode 3 from the Planet K episode, it's about to get messy. I am honestly worried. We are back for episode 3 or episode 5 of Boys to Planet if you count all the episodes, and both of the planets are now combined, and we see the first few performances in this episode. So let's talk about it. First of all, it's a crime that they're eliminating all of the 1 stars after this performance. That's literally so many people. I can't believe they're just eliminating an entire group and not just a select few of people. And for this mission, they had to make teams within the same star level. So I can't even believe that any of them will survive, especially the lower ranks. Yumeki's team is literally insane though, because he has the main dancer, Yumeki of course, the 2 centers, C and K, and the 2 trainee A members. And a main rapper, Yoonmin, that's just literally calling for an easy win. I also found it so funny how every time the Chinese members were called by name, they would bow. Automatically, they were... Now, as I was watching these practices, of course, there's always teams with no main vocal, and somebody has to volunteer to be the main vocal, and eventually they will be eliminated and get all the hate because they suck and they can't sing like a main vocal because that's not their main part. And I just feel bad for them. There is such a lack of main vocals on survival shows, and people rarely vote for them unless they're super popular with their visuals. When we got to the practice with Heo Jong-shin's group doing Kill the Romeo, and the leader, Christian, he said Sho should be the sub-rapper because he's the shortest. I mean, he's not wrong, but wow, that's quite the reason. And then Heo Jong-shin trying for the rap part made me laugh, especially the reactions, because they're all like, what was that? And then he didn't get main rapper. Now we saw the plot twist teams, and of course, Lee Jong, he is like some visionary for a CEO position at a K-pop idol company because he thought of his team with Liu at the center. He completely made the team for him, which kind of confused me because are you competing for yourself or are you competing to make Liu debut? Because why was he doing that? Shouldn't you think of, I don't know, yourself as the center so you could, you know, get more points and more attention from the audience? But instead, he wants all the attention to go to Liu. And then Liu tried to sing for the killing part, and he can't sing! He got 2 votes from the members, even though he can't sing. Next, we have the Rising Sun team, and I'm so excited for Soon Hung-yu because he's just amazing. I'm excited. And then we got the S-Class team, and So-won was so nice and caring to Inu because he wanted to include him for everything, even though Inu was like so down and lost in confidence. Inu felt like he couldn't do any rap. Inu said he felt out of his comfort zone and he wasn't confident with doing rap. And So-won was just so caring and nice and like, oh, try this part, don't you want to try this part? So-won, you are such a good person. But also, I feel like it's a survival show. You gotta do something out of your comfort zone to stand out. Otherwise, you're just gonna be left in the dust. Unless you're, of course, one of the main visuals who get votes for nothing. And then we got the S-Class team with the 1 stars. And Min-jae just took leader and gave himself everything good. I thought that was a little evil, considering he didn't ask for any of the opinions of the other members, and he just assigned their roles, like, you do this, you do this, you do this. And I feel so bad for Hanwen, because he's the main vocal. Nobody else wanted to volunteer because they don't have the vocal range, and Hanwen just took it and sacrificed himself. And that's what I'm talking about, because he is not main vocal material either, and he did not do good at the main performance, which is really sad, because I just know he's gonna get eliminated and get all the hate. And then we have the Whiplash team with the All-Stars, and Leo is just always backing up Sangwon. I love that when there's two friends in a group on a team of a survival show, the friend always supports the other friend, and they're like, I'm voting for them no matter what. And I would probably do the same. The All-Star S-Class team was very good, especially the main rapper, the main center guy, crazy. Now we have the dance practice for the Plot Twist team, and we saw the midterm evaluation, and He Shin-long just stopped dancing in the middle of the practice and walked to the side and just stood there like a statue, serving face. But then we learned in his interview that his mind just went blank. And for some reason, the masters were so pissed at him because he stopped dancing. Even though, you know, he literally went blank. He couldn't remember anything, and he didn't want to bother the other members who needed to change formations and dance. Now, am I falling for mnet's evil editing? Or did Baek Young really say because there was a muted word at the end of what he said when he told He Shin-long to get out. And I don't know if the mnet just added that to make it seem like he cursed him out, or if he actually did curse him out. And this was the start of Shin-long's storyline, and I cannot believe how much it got me. And I'm so glad he went viral for this, because he deserves it. He is very talented. Shin-long was crying with Zihao, his Boy Story member, about how he only has 3 seconds of lines on his parts, and then he can't do it. And then Yoon-so, who was like 15, was comforting Shin-long, and he came to him and they talked and they bonded, and it was so cute and heartwarming. But also Yoon-so said he started training at like 10 years old. What the hell? They really taken these children from kindergarten. And then the most viral moment, He Shin-long putting Yoon-so to bed, and he stayed with him until he fell asleep because he felt bad, and he understood him because Shin-long came to a foreign country when he was young, and he wanted other people to be there for him too. And I just I hope you debut He Shin-long. And then we have the preview for the next episode, and we see Lee-jung crying and talking about Lee-chen, how he missed practice and how he can't keep looking for him to come to the practice room. And then Lee-chen's like, I follow you guys during the practice. And to be honest, I'm giving such a big side eye to Lee-chen, because if you watched Project 7, you will know he had some attitude issues there, but people are still defending him. And he did say on Project 7 that he's working on it. But it's been a few months later, he's on Boys to Planet now, and I'm a little worried. It's giving bad vibes and deja vu from Project 7, but hopefully it doesn't turn out that bad. And of course, we have the highly anticipated Whiplash team, so I'm looking forward to that. We are back to talk about episode 4 of Boys to Planet, and I cannot believe this damn episode started with that dog, Junbei. My god! Not the dog getting more screen time! But honestly, I'd rather watch that footage of them practicing during that Junbei segment, because you could see them bonding and sweating buckets. Like, have you ever imagined how smelly it must be in those practice rooms? Just, like, think about how there's, like, 20 plus people in a single room with no open windows, and it probably smells very, very musty. And nasty. Their hair is drenched in sweat, and so are their shirts, and I'm sure their feet smell disgusting. But anyways, mnet wants that drama, so we have Lee-chen.
We start off with the plot twist team, and we see that Yi-Chen is getting the evil edit because he's currently leaving the practice room so many times, and Yi-Jung is wondering where the hell is he because they can't practice without him, and Yi-Chen is the killing part. I think the worst moment for Yi-Chen was when he said to Yi-Jung, "I don't think we need to learn the lyrics." And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? That has to be on purpose because there's no way Ichan actually thinks that. For the midterm evaluation, they always sing live. Even on Project 7, he knows this because they do the exact same type of midterm evaluations. Of course, he didn't do good, but the other members didn't do that great during the evaluation either. However, mnet only focused on him, which of course they chose him as their villain. But I seriously wonder where he kept going during the practice because he disappeared over 7 times, and I'm sure it's not just the bathroom unless he has like IBS or something. There was a rumor going around that Yi-Chen was being used as a translator because he's fluent in English, Korean, and Chinese, and mnet didn't want to pay any more other translators, so they were using him to translate for the other trainees. And I don't put it past mnet to be that nasty. Now onto their stage. I cannot believe my favorite parts were Kang Woo-jin and Jang Han-eum. They are so cute together. And I cannot believe the vocals on them. So good. mnet did not give any screen time to Jang Han-eum. You see his face. He is so beautiful. And he can sing. Y'all, debut that man right now. Han-eum literally looks like a living Douyin filter. I cannot believe how beautiful he is. And his voice? Amazing. Now we have the Rising Sun team of the 2 stars, and they were a group of unchosen trainees, and I cannot believe that they did so amazing. But their votes for the actual performance were so low. That was really sad to me because they really did good. Out of all the stages, Rising Sun, both of the teams, were my favorite. The hidden gem that I discovered after this performance was Aoshi because he was amazing as the killing part. I didn't even know his existence before this performance, but he's probably eliminated. Also, Jangfun really killed it with the intro part after oh my god. It was good. I really hope most of them survived the elimination. Now we had the all-star Rising Sun team, and this was my most excited moment because I was waiting for them because of Sun Hong-yu. Y'all see my man Sun Hong-yu with his neck veins when he's screaming those high notes. He just seems so passionate, and I really hope he debuts. Now again, during their practice time, we see another edit of Masato being slow during practice and getting help from the other members. And this is like the second time he's gotten this edit. But the most important part, why are they dancing naked in the practice room? There was like 3 of them with their shirts off dancing to Rising Sun, and the lights were down. And I'm like, what is going on? And apparently on Twitter, somebody said that they didn't have the AC on, so it was really hot, and they didn't turn the AC on because they wanted to help Sun Hong-yu's throat from getting dry. I don't know how true this is, but very interesting moment. Now the performance was insane to me, especially like the dance break and the high notes and honestly everything. Also Andrew with his like, R&B feel vocals, that was everything. All of them did so good. And this was the type of stage I wanted to see on like Countdown. Also, Park Junil, who was the killing part, he literally was also part of Trainee A, but he is getting no screen time. And then we saw the results for the individual votes, and the 2-star team for Rising Sun lost by such a big gap, and they started crying, which I thought was so undeserved because they really did good though. They were just not popular with the audience. Next, we have the battle of the Kill the Romeos, and this was the moment that I was worried about. During the midterm practice, Seo-kun, the vocal master, asked Jongxing how's his condition, and Jongxing says, "It's not good. I'm very tired and exhausted." And then Seo-kun replies, "Oh, what can we do? We're all tired, but we're doing our best." And it's in that exact tone that he talks to Jongxing. And I don't know why he is so mean to him. Like, they all hate him. For what reason? I don't know. It was like he's talking to a child. I seriously don't understand what is their attitude with him. And then Sokun at the end of the evaluation says, "It's your life. We won't care if you get eliminated." Like, what the hell? You're a mentor there to help them pursue their dreams, and this is the type of words that you're gonna use with them? I seriously am so confused with these mentors. Jongxing says in his personal interviews that he felt like quitting so many times, but he's still on the show, and honestly, he feels like a student who's going to school because he has to, and he doesn't want to drop out, even though he really, really wants to. I honestly wonder what's making him stay because it seems like he's having a really rough time mentally and physically. And then Sokun gave out the win and lose stickers, and Jongxing threw that damn sticker away, and the staff, which they had a Chinese speaking staff, told him to go back to that room, pick up the sticker, and put it on. Like, is that damn serious? Also, this was the first time any of the stickers were even mentioned at all. And they weren't mentioned after this scene either. So clearly they just used him for that evil edit because this is so stupid. It's a sticker. Come on. Jongshin was laughing like a crazy person when he heard that the staff told him to go pick it back up. Like, honestly, I feel for him. Now, this is a moment where I'm a little like, about Jongxing because he was sleeping during practice time and the other members couldn't practice because he wasn't doing his part. And then he continues by saying that he prefers individual practice time over team time. And I'm kind of confused about that because you're here to debut in a group, not debut as a solo artist. So you kind of have to practice with other people as a team. So that's kind of weird for me. Now tell me why on the actual stage, Zhongxing was the only person I could remember. I'm sorry to all the other members, but they did not do good. Zhongxing was the only person I remembered. He was in his big ass red suit and he did all these extra things that made him stand out, while the other members just faded into the background, and especially during the breastfeeding moment. That was the highlight. The vocals were definitely lacking in this team, and if you have ears and you heard show, then you know. Anyways, the 2-star team for Kill the Romeo did pretty good, and they deserved that win. Finally, we have the Whiplash team battle. And of course, everybody was looking forward to this. Anshin was so cute, trying to cheer up Sangwon when he was sad that he got bad feedback about the killing part. Never knew Anshin could be so adorable. But also, why was Sangwon just like sitting inside the cabinet or whatever? Also, you know how it's so interesting? Sangwon got the "oh, sad, we want to cheer you up" edit while he was all alone during the practice time. And then He Jongxing, he got the evil, "what is he doing? He's not practicing" all alone edit. Very interesting. C trainee, K trainee. Onto their stage, I thought Leo was the person who stood out the most to me with his amazing vocals. The parts that he took fit his vocals so well. I thought he was the main vocal, except Anshin was the main vocal. But anyways, all of them, of course, did good. I'm surprised Yumeki got, like, no screen time or parts. I thought he would have, like, fought for more parts, especially since, you know, he was the one who made the entire team. But that didn't happen. All of them had amazing facial expressions. I just think that entire team, their visuals just fit together, like, perfectly. Now we have the last team of 1 stars, and I was so blown away by Kim Daniel. Because what the hell happened during the practice? He was not good at all, and on stage, he literally killed it. I did not think that would happen. Also, I was very worried about Sun Jae-yang, but he also did pretty good. And I'm like, what? Junhyuk was right about not changing the killing part because Daniel's physical appearance and everything actually like fit the killing part vibe so well. And his vocals were so good. I don't know how he improved so well in such a short time. Of course, the results were revealed for the teams, and we already know. It was so obvious that who was going to win based on everything that happened, depending on the team composition, and whoever won the benefit, of course, M Countdown and the Studio Chum benefit was the Whiplash team, All Stars. And everybody thought it was so obvious because they were just clapping like, I kind of wish the Rising Sun All-Star team won because I want to see that again. Anyways, the next episode is the eliminations, and I'm very worried for who will be eliminated because I think 32 trainees are getting cut if they don't make it to 2 stars. So yeah, that's like basically half of them. And yeah, hopefully the ones that I like survive because I'm gonna be really sad. Goodbye. Now, Jang Hanum, I saw some of his photos floating around on Twitter, and he is seriously so beautiful. How does somebody look like that? It looks like he's a walking filter. I don't even know. Like, what? I'm like short circuiting. Like, he's seriously beautiful. Mnet, give him some screen time, please. He is a good singer and he's a visual. Thank you. I beg you. Also, give me some Kang Woo-jin screen time, please. I was hoping for some. For episode 5 of Boys to Planet, which is the eliminations. And I just have to say, the chair arrangement is so ugly for the top 8. There is no way I believe that is actually the debut group because it's just too ugly. It makes no sense. There's always a focus on symmetry and that just doesn't look right. Are you telling me there's really no extra chair next to number 6? It just makes no sense. So that leads me to believe that there must be at least one mentor pick or something for the finale because I need more members. 8 members is just not enough. It's always never enough, but I'm kind of hoping for 11 members, you know, to heal my X1 trauma because Mnet is evil. Anyways, we have the fun segment in between the eliminations because Mnet always wants us on an emotional roller coaster. And of course, this is the time that Mnet gives some screen time to the trainees and they're actually funny and could be loved, but then they're gonna be eliminated in like 10 minutes. So we have the visual pick corner and Lisa Howe killed me during this segment. He was so funny. He chose He Shin-long as his visual pick and said he has an alpha vibe. And then we saw that He Shin-long picked Zihao as his visual pick. And then the staff asked him, would you be reborn as Lee Zihao? And he's like, I think there are better choices. When the staff were talking to Lee Zihao, I can't believe they mentioned how he was hated on by thousands of people online for his visuals when the previews of their photos were shown. I honestly hope he didn't get too hurt by those nasty ass comments because I'm sure he's still getting a lot. But at least it seems like he's doing okay and he's taking it in a fun way. Because he said attention is attention, you know. Now this reminds me of that moment when Xie called Zihao the most handsome during like the practice footage in the previous episodes. And that makes me think that he's saying that to, you know, boost his confidence and be like, I'm here for you, bro. And that just makes me sad. Love their friendship. When the segment was over, it was announced that the visual pick corner was actually named the Planet Alpha Visual Competition. I'm so done with the alpha. Of course, Sangwon won number 1 as the visual pick, and he's terrible at giving speeches, so he went on forever a ramble. And we got a little quick reaction of Yoonso saying, oh, here we go again. And then we cued the 2 times speed of Sangwon speaking because I don't know what he got to say when he just got chosen as number 1 visual. Like, why you got so much to say? Now, something that confused me was that the pre-release photos were also the top 8 visual picks. And on the first season of Boys Planet, they were chosen by the trainees, and that's how they became the posters of the visuals. But for this season, it seems like those top 8 visuals were chosen by the producers or something. Those top 8 pre-show photos definitely help a few trainees, especially Liu, get a lot of attention. And to be honest, his photos were the best. So I guess it's warranted. Now, this episode was long as hell. I am definitely not going through all the eliminations, but when we started off with the Rising Sun teams, I was already sad because I just knew that the other team would be eliminated, majority of them. I cannot believe Hongyu got 11th place. I am so proud of him. I really need you to debut. He's just so close to top 8, and I'm afraid that he might not. I'm not gonna say it. Anyways, please, we cannot lose him. He is So good. I really cannot have another J moment from Boys Planet 1, please. I'm just saying, Mnet, you know you're gonna make so much money out of this group. Why not, just add a few more members, make a little more money? Plus, the contract is supposed to be like 5 years, so, Anyways, fast forward, we have Ye-chan who ranked 39, which I'm proud that he survived because he really is a good rapper. And there's not many good rappers on this damn show. And then Tyga said, there's gonna be no more. We're gonna be eliminated. And that just makes me think about how it's so much torture for the ones who are clearly going to be eliminated and are not popular at all, that they just have to sit there and wait for everybody else to be called and announce that they survived while they watch all their friends go away. They know they're going home and they just have to sit through like a 5-hour shoot. I cannot. And then during the Kill the Romeo part, Songwoo announces the hint for number 31, which is a very distinct character. And then we got a shot of Woojin copying Jongxing's sexy. And then we got this random reaction shot of Shinlong, and he just reminds me of that Riz emoji. His face just looks like it. You know the thing that Matthew from Zero Base One does? That's what it reminds me of. And then Jongxing got ranked 36, and Peng Jingyu says, yes, we gotta have this kind of person in the show. And then Jahao was like, huh? And I'm like, what are you saying? But honestly, yes, I understand what he means. Because if you think about it, there's not that many very super distinct characters like He Jongxing on the show right now who are very clear on what their character is that they're showing to everybody. Everybody knows him as the sexy guy. Now, the moment that made me laugh so much was when He Jongxing was, clapping hands with everybody, and then Sho said, hug me, and Jongxing went straight past his ass. That tells me the beef was real between them. If you remember correctly, if you watched the episode previews, we never got the full segment of Sho yelling at Jongxing for not being able to speak Korean, which once again, the Planet C trainees did not know they were going to be debuting in a Korean speaking group. They were supposed to debut in a Chinese group. Now we're onto a fun dance segment. And Konu comes in and he's the MC and he says there's gonna be a rank dance battle. And Jung Sang-young says 1 star to 2 star to 3 star. I just love when he speaks English. This entire episode made me realize that I'm slowly falling in love with him because of those tiny segments. And I think this entire video is just me talking about those tiny segments because the eliminations were awful. Now, the prize for the dance competition was 100 chickens, and that always gets me thinking, that chicken must be cold and soggy as hell, because they filmed the dance segment for at least 2 hours, where they gotta switch through everybody, and there's MCs talking and everything, so there is no way that chicken is nice, hot, crispy. I don't believe it. They just be giving them cold chicken as the prize. And we got a reaction shot of Woojin saying, that's crazy. And his pronunciation sounds like a native speaker. Once again, I did not know that so many of these trainees could speak English. Like, what? But yes, the dance battles were crazy. Another funny moment for me was when Sang-yeon says, the chicken is ours. I'm so sorry, but he gets me. Now we're back to the eliminations, and I cannot believe Hanim ranked number 12. That is completely insane because he literally got 0 screen time. We didn't even see his audition performance. They also cut his speech for ranking number 12. Mnet really hates him. For what reason? I have no idea. And I don't think anybody else does either because he's talented, he's beautiful, he can sing, he can dance, and Mnet says no. But also, how are so many people voting for him when he doesn't even show up on screen? Anyways, Whiplash team was next. And I thought, oh, damn, this episode is finally over. And then I checked the time and it was like an hour left. I was like, what the hell? So I started watching at 2 times speed. So Chingwee got announced as passing. And then Sang-yeon says, congrats, Chingwee. I swear, whoever the editor is that got these little bites from Sang-yeon, you know what? Thank you for that. Now the hint for number 15 was a height of 172 centimeters. And it turns out to be Sun Jae-young. And now we all know that he lied about his height on his Boys Planet profile. There ain't no way he is that tall. Now, I just have to say, when we saw some of the shots of He Shin-long, he really looks so beautiful. But also, he reminds me of those dragon memes. You know what I'm talking about? The meme of the 3 dragon heads. He looked like all 3 of them. Anyways, the rankings were so obvious. And actually, there was a rumor that listed all the rankings exactly as they turned out to be. So the rumors on this show are crazy. There really is a staff leaking all this information because how is everything correct? If I remember from last season, it was not correct. People were just doing random stuff and having fun. But this season, there is somebody on the inside leaking actual information. Now, let me tell you, I thought we were going to have more of the fun segments that they showed in the preview. But no, I skipped ahead so many times through the rankings because we just knew what was going to happen. And finally, we're at the send-off. And I always imagine myself as that awkward person in that group of people where they're all, hugging, crying, and saying goodbye. And then we always see at least like a few trainees just on screen and they're like looking around like, and they're not talking to anybody. They're not comforting anybody. They're just watching everybody else say goodbye and cry to their friends while they're just standing there. It's kind of sad if you think about it, because what if they weren't close with anybody to, do anything? But hopefully that's not the case. I'm sure most of them are friends with someone at least. And of course, we always get those last goodbye messages like, "This is the beginning. This is not the end. I will continue to fight for my dream." And we all know that it just doesn't really happen because out of all the people on these survival shows, maybe like 5 of them debut in other groups. And even then, out of those groups, they still are Nugu and nobody knows who they are. And then they disband after like a year or 2 of trying to survive in the industry, which is a terrible reality. Finally, at the end of the show, we got previews for the semi-finale songs. And the first song is called Lucky Macho. Mnet is really pushing this alpha male agenda. What kind of tomfoolery is this? Mnet is really taking Boys Max the Power a little too seriously. I'm honestly worried this will affect the group name because it's gonna be something like Alpha Boys or Machos. I really hope not. And I think Chains is trying to be the next Over Me from season 1. And I don't know how to feel about it, but all the other songs are like, okay. I think the previews never give too much justice to how the full song is. With that said, I've also seen the spoilers for the next round, the second round performances. Of course, since there's already an entire list of songs and teams for everything, and there's already fan sites posting from videos taken during the performances, and we already know there's a group performing Queen Ka by Idol, and a spoiler alert, they rearranged the song to be a rock version, and they're wearing black leather jackets and dark makeup, and they're kind of thrusting on stage, but they did not change the lyrics to King Ka. So they're singing about being a queen while doing alpha male dance moves. Anyways, I'm maybe excited. I am back for episode 6 of Boys to Planet. And wow, of course, we start off the episode with the tradition of Mnet waking them up with the signal song and they have to do some random exercise. It was at this moment that I understood why idols talk about puffiness and bloating all the time, because they showed some of the trainees looking so puffy and bloated after waking up so early in the morning, which I'm sure because they get no sleep and they eat not well, that causes their bloating to happen. I never understood why they talked about it so much, but now I do. Because when they showed Kang Min, he looked so different from when he was performing on stage to just now when he woke up. My goodness, the bloating is serious. I never knew that a person could get so bloated. Anyways, onto the more important stuff. Yuri from Ice One is the special master for this time, and she's introducing everything. And I swear, every time the Ice One girls show up, they just make me really sad, but also happy at the same time because they were my comfort group and they will always be my number one because they were there for me when times were rough. All of the members are thriving in their own way, and it just shows you that survival show groups can be extremely successful, and they are the only ones out of all the survival show groups that have actually made a way for themselves after the group has ended. Of course, there are a few others, but never to the success of the girls from Eyes One at all. So the mission for the second round performances is for the All-Stars to protect their position and for the 2 stars to beat the All-Stars and take their position through a position battle. I just love that we got this shot of my main vocal line, Hanum, Soon Hung-yu, and Kang Woo-jin. Love them. If I understood the rules correctly, the trainees who stay All-Star will get 200,000 points, or the trainees that beat the All-Stars will also get 200,000 points, and the first place of the entire category will win 500,000 points. So basically, you can win 700,000 points, and that's like a one-way ticket to the next round, which is great. But also, these bonus points always go to the top trainees, and the bonus points never matter for them because they were already going to pass to the next round. And I think there's very rarely any cases where this actually helps a low-ranking trainee to survive and actually make it. Majority of the time, all these bonus points already go to the top trainees who don't need the bonus points to survive to the next round. So I just think it's kind of dumb. But of course, it's great for those trainees who actually needed it, like the low-ranking ones who were able to somehow beat another all-star. And the first place gets a special M Countdown stage plus an online fan meeting. And I just hope they don't get any weirdos, because if you haven't heard recently of the Subin fan call where he was harassed, well, it's better that you don't know because it was awful. Now, Mnet is sticking with their concept of eliminating an entire group because all the 2 stars will be gone by the next round, which is fantastic. Bring back Boys to Planet when they were all random star levels at the finale. Like, what is the point? Now we have the song reveals, which again, were all from the spoilers. They are correct, all of them, and even the teams, which is honestly insane. Someone is inside leaking information. They need to check their staff. But also, these producers are choosing the weirdest songs ever. I understand they have to have some variety, but the weirdest variety, like Young Posse XXL. Really? Young Posse isn't even that popular that people would know that song? I'm very confused. And then they had the Hot Team, which was so random because it's a very old Korean song. Of course, it's popular with older generation, but the new generation, which is like everybody there, nobody knows the song. And then the vocal songs got me confused too. I'm like, huh? They choose like some popular songs, but also I just don't understand. I never understand the song choices. Like Stray Kids, we already had a Stray Kids song in the previous round. Give us actual variety. I don't hate Stray Kids, but I just want to see a different artist. Like, why do you gotta repeat the artist? There are millions of good boy group songs out there, and different ones too. Mnet. Come on. Now, my face when Jongxing came out to challenge for the Hansum Breathe by Ihai vocal position, I was like, there's no way he's actually doing that because he wants to be a vocal. I swear, Jongxing, he has something in his brain where he's like, this'll give me some screen time. I swear, because later on in the episode, we see some of that. At least, I believe so. Plus, he had a little like interview voiceover where he said he thinks the ballad song is sexy. I mean, come on. There's no way he is serious. Anyways, one of the songs that I really like is Rose Blossom by Heike. And I saw the team and I was like, Liu, what are you doing there? I'm sorry, but I really can't listen to his vocals. Like, There's just something off about it. He just needs more training. Anyways, the team that I'm looking forward to the most is, of course, in the vocals. I always look forward to the vocal teams. And this one is Run to You by 17. And there's a lot of main vocals there, which I'm super excited for. Plus, this is an amazing song choice. I will give that to mnet because this is like the #1 anime K-pop OST because it just sounds like a perfect slice of life, kind of high energy, youthful energy anime song. That's exactly what 17 did with this song. And I'm so sad that like all of the team members did not know this song existed. But also like so many of them are born in like 2009, like or whatever. I don't know. They're just young as hell. Anyways, I just know the vocals will be amazing on this team. Now we got the hot team, and I just felt so bad for them when I saw the entire team was finished. There's all foreigners except for Ijong, and all of them don't know the song at all. Now we're on to the practice and them deciding parts, and we see Chen being problematic again, and honestly, I can't see people defending him anymore because the way he acts is just too much. It's a continuation of how he acted on Project 7. He has not made any changes to his behavior at all. Whenever Ye-chan tried to speak, he was like, yeah, no, my opinion is better. We should do it my way. Like, even giving the leader position, Yi-chen was like, oh, I shouldn't be leader and killing part. I shouldn't be leader and killing part. I shouldn't be leader and killing part. Yeah, he said that so many times. And Ye-chan was so fed up. He was like, all right, I'm just gonna take the leader. And then Chen was like, wow, you're just gonna take the leader like that? I can't believe you don't have any like manners. What? Chen, you told him to take the leader because you wanted killing part. What you doing? Like, come on. The manipulation. I just feel so bad for Ye-chan because he's going through it. And I don't even know if he's gonna survive this round, but we all know Chen probably will because he's quite popular enough to stay in the top 24. Unless this episode turns off fans. Also, I'm surprised that Sowon chose rap and he chose famous out of all the damn songs. But yeah. I thought he would choose vocal, but surprisingly no. Maybe he didn't have a choice, I don't know. So he made their teammates do a battle for who could be the best killing part. And the gibberish rap destroyed me. It was so funny. I honestly thought Taejo was better, so I don't know why Jaehyun was chosen, but we'll see. Now we see the XXL team, which is the dance team, and I was so confused when Jinyu and Jiayang were like, we've never choreographed anything before, so we're just gonna sit here. We don't know how to do anything. And I'm like, but it's dance. Like, there's no requirement for a language to, you know, make this assignment work. You could, I don't know, bust a little move, give some ideas here and there, but then they just let Yunso and Atik do everything, and I'm like, okay, a little weird. I mean, they were good members in the end. They did amazing, so I guess there's that. My goodness. And now we got the team that I was talking about before, the Queen Cat team. Oh, it got me good when I saw these men singing for the killing part, practicing, and Leo and all the members singing, Queen Ka, I'm hot, my boob and booties. It's just that chorus part just kills me. I died every time they sang Boob and Booty. And you know what? I'm probably going to die when I watch that stage next week. And it seems like they kept the look so cool, look so sexy like Kim Kardashian. I really hope they didn't keep that, but they might have kept it because I heard them sing it. And I really hope that's not true. But I don't know what they would change it to. It'd be better than like Travis Scott or whatever Nowadays said when they did the cover at KCON. But I just gotta say, my love for Sanghyun was dropping little by little as I heard him sing because he can't really sing either. Damn. I was starting to like him in the previous episode, but now it's like, it's going down. Maybe he'll do amazing during the performance. And then we see the Stray Kids team who is performing La 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 La. I just have to say, I love Shinlong the more that I see him. Like, they were talking about who's going to be the leader between him and Gonu, and Shinlong was like, we have 4 C group members and 1 K member, and I'm closer with the C members. They're gonna vote for me, so let's not do that. Let's not do a vote, and let's just talk it out. And then Shilong just gave it up to Gonu. And I'm like, damn, Shilong is just so nice. And then we have the hot team, and Jongxing was going on a rant about, not a rant, I'm sorry, a long ass speech complimenting the members and then saying, so I'm gonna turn a new leaf. I want to be the leader. And, and all of them agreed and gave it to him. I'm like, what? Have you seen how he acts? But they trusted him and they were kind of betrayed. But the C team was really the life of the show because Lee Zihao and He Jongxing were like hyping up the entire room while they were doing the practice for the killing part. And you know what? The C trainees are always the life of the party in this entire series so far. Now we have the Breathe team, and Gaon just made me so sad the way he was acting because he knew his rank was low and that he probably won't make it at all to the next round. And this happens every single time on a survival show with low ranking trainees. They just feel so sad and they're like, oh, what's the point? I'm not gonna make it to the next round anyways. And honestly, I feel for them because there's literally no point because they're not going to make it to the next round unless they have some super magical miracle, which doesn't really happen unless they're like really lucky with some stroke of amazingness that happens on stage. It won't happen and they're just going to be eliminated. But I guess another company could see them and maybe pick them up, but that's also extremely rare. So you know, it's just sad. And then we have like some redemption where they're like, oh, I'm just gonna do my best because this will be my last performance and it'll be on the internet forever. But Gehan really sounded like he's just willing to give up all the good parts and like the killing part to Anshin or Kangmin because he knows there's no point for him. Like, damn. Now we have the Rose Blossom team, and I was like so confused when Hanum said, oh, we have no good vocalist here. I'm like, what, Hanum? Hanum, you're right there. And then I was like, the other ones are okay. The other tradies have decent vocals. And then they couldn't sing the notes because it was too high. Now we have the Like Jenny team. And I was so sad when Junmin did not get the killing part because I really thought he was the best. I was like, wow, like, damn. Like, even from the previous round, he did amazing. And he's continuing that. And then he didn't get it. And I'm like, oh, damn. Okay, what's going on? And let me just say, it always annoys me when a trainee that is going to debut or is in a very high rank and will definitely make it into the next round and probably debut, always, you know, takes all the good parts for themselves. And yes, I know it's a survival show competition. I know this is such a dumb thought. Like, they're all out for themselves, of course. But I'm like, you don't really need the parts because, all your fans are already there and they're way more than the other trainees. And it's obvious, you could tell. Like the differences in the points between the top trainees are like 1 million. So it's a clear like, you don't need these extra points or these extra parts or these extra screen time because people already know your name and they see you. And no, I'm not talking about charity and like just giving it to them because they're low rank. Some of these low ranking trainees are extremely talented, if not more than the top trainees. So I'm just saying, I just wish the low ranking trainees got a little extra more push, you know? And we saw this happen in the previous season with Jiyoung from Zero Base 1. He gave up so many parts, even though he was the leader, and he knew that he was the most popular out of all the trainees on his team. So he let them have the killing parts and more singing parts. Like he got like 3 seconds in his Stray Kids performance, but he still did a lot of impact and he helped the other trainees. So I'm just saying, not everybody can be a Jiyoung and give up all that. But you know what? I just wish there were more Jiyoungs, okay? Anyways, fast forward to the midterm evaluations for the XXL team, and it was hilarious when Yoonso was like, we won first place for the midterm evaluations. And he was like, oh, nope, this means something bad is happening to us soon. And following Mnet's history with that, I was like, yeah, I totally agree. Something bad is gonna go down. But then everything good just kept happening to them. It all just worked out. I just gotta say, when Shouting did their dance evaluation, I was like, God, she is really so beautiful. And everybody go stream Bubblegum, which is Kepler's comeback. Pop that body like bubblegum. Pop that body like butterbum. Anyways, the XXL team did amazing. I was surprised, especially Jaeyoung and Jinyu because they followed along so well. It didn't seem like they were like, attacking them for making the choreo this way or that way. Of course, we didn't see any footage, but they were very team-like and they did amazing on stage. Yoonso went so hard on stage, he kicked his shoe off, which was a hilarious moment. Of course, we got the results right away and Jaeyoung and Jinyu dropped to 2-star and Yoonso and Atik went up to All-Star. And you know what? They deserved it. But also watching this, I was like thinking, what is the point of them dropping to 2-star or staying All-Star when in the end their votes are going to be determined by the online voting? So what's the point of this? They're just like psychologically messing them up. Mnet. Of course, Mnet. Just want to break them down even more. Of course, aside from the winning the bonus points, but like really, what's the point of saying, oh, you dropped to a 2-star? Now that means you're closer to elimination. But some of them got like a lot of online votes, so I don't think it would matter if they temporarily dropped to 2-star in name. Now we on to the practice for the hot team, and Lisa Howe was so funny when he said Amasi for MIC. That was so funny. And he was like, I just did it my way. And Justice told him, it's good to do it in your way, but maybe don't change the language. Now here comes the drama because Jongxing, just in the middle of practice, he's like, can't do this anymore. Nope. And he just leaves. And this was the point where we learned that leaving the show requires a meeting. And I was like, damn, that's how they keep these trainees here because what? I bet in all those meetings, Mnet brings out like a list of stuff in their contract and like, nope, you can't leave unless this, and this are all fulfilled or you pay us $1 million. I wouldn't be surprised if Mnet brings out all sorts of manipulation to keep them from dropping out of the show. Like honestly, what kind of contract did they sign? Because eventually, Jongkin comes back and he says, oh, I'm not quitting anymore. What? What do you mean you're not quitting? I would be so pissed at Jongxing. I don't know how the other 3 members were so calm about it, probably because they had to practice, but that was just too much for me. Because while Jongxing was like, I can't focus, and he was, gone, disappeared, the 3 of them were like making their own formations and practicing as a 3-person group. But then he just suddenly comes back and is like, all right, I'm practicing. Here we are. And he was like smiling, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, is this the same person? Bring back the real Jongxing. Did he actually quit? Like, who is this person? Because that was so weird. And he was like, oh, let's just practice. Because if we talk about it, Mnet's gonna replay the part where I said I want to quit. And yeah, because you said you want to quit multiple times on the show already. Like, come on. I can't defend this man anymore. The strangest actions ever. I just need to know what happened in that meeting with the producers to make Jongxing come back and be like, I'm ready to practice. I will perform on stage. I will continue the show. What did they threaten him with? Probably some termination fee. Because Jongxin said, even if I can't quit the show, I don't want to perform on stage. But then fast forward, we see him perform. Despite all that drama, the hot stage was actually very fun. And I can't believe Zahao just, kissed a Sangwon stand on stage. And there were so many different references, like Imjack, and it was good. It was a very fun stage. I cannot believe Nyan Bohung got the lowest score of 900 votes. Anyways, we have the last performance, which is Like Jenny. And this team, they got me sad. The reason being Connie and Junmin, the storyline. She was really just so nice and caring to him. Like, she is a true mentor. Unlike some of the other mentors on this show, when Junmin was down, looking down and dancing like he has no confidence during the practice evaluation, Connie was like, I see you. You think you're not on the same level as these other trainees? Well, you're wrong, because I believe in you. If I could vote for one person, it would only be you. And yes, you need to be confident, because how am I going to believe in you if you aren't confident in yourself? And he teared up and I teared up watching that moment. Connie is just so nice. And she is an example that you don't have to be an evil mentor to, make these guys practice and work hard. Like, there's no point and yelling at the trainees and making them traumatized. We saw Zhongxing was clearly, going down in the previous episodes and he was being yelled at. I was like, I can't. After the midterm evaluation, we see that shot of them in the dorms and the four members are talking and Junmin's like, I just wish people would recognize that I have no place to go after this show ends. If I'm eliminated and I don't debut, I literally can't continue being an idol anymore. You can just hear it in his voice. There really is nothing left for him after this. And some of them are honestly so desperate to just debut and make it in the industry. Otherwise, this is the end of their dream. And like I said in the previous episode with the eliminations, it really is the end for a lot of these trainees if they don't debut. And we know that they're not going to debut because their ranking is just way too low and they're going to be eliminated. And Junmin is on the verge of elimination because his ranking is very low, despite how talented he is. Anyways, fast forward to the Like Jenny performance, and the stage was so terribly edited. I don't know what to say. Every season, there's a performance where mnet has to change the cut every single second. Not even 1 second, a millisecond. They have a zoom in and then a zoom out and then the audience shot. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's too much. I could not focus on the actual performance. So I'm gonna wait for the full cam to be uploaded on YouTube to actually watch it because it was too much for me. I was getting dizzy watching what was happening. But anyways, I just have to say I love Connie and I wish there were more mentors like Connie in the K-pop world because they're needed. We need more of her. And of course, mnet for the next episode, they always split the episode performances into two and they keep the vocals usually for the second half, which I hate so much because it's usually the vocals that I love the most. We all know that the good vocals will get eliminated because there's gonna be 1 day of voting left when we hear all the amazing vocal performances. I seriously can't. mnet, so rude. Well, let me know what you thought about these performances, and I will see you for the next episode. And then we have another elimination so soon. I can't believe everything is going so fast. Hello, I'm Evan, and I'm back for episode 7 of Boys 2 Planet. And today's concept is very calm, and I'm very reserved. And the episode starts off with a glimpse into the dorm life of the trainees. And we see Chue Liu eating his breakfast off of Sangyan. What? That is some next level friendship. Liu was using him as a table, literally just as food on top of his body, just eaten right away. Sangyeon was just lying there like a normal day. What goes on in that dorm? I would love to see, but Mnet just has to gatekeep all the fun stuff. And then we see Sangwon reading with Chingwi next to him, just eating some chips ASMR. And I just gotta say, how many times do we have to see Sangwon reading? We know that he loves books. Give me another trainee that does something weird or some other hobby, please. Somebody new, not Sangwon. Then we have a cute little segment of Jiayang doing the C trainee's makeup. And of course, it's Lisa Hao. They show a before and after. And I just have to say, he looks the exact same except whiter. And we also see Yoon-so changing into his school uniform with Shin-long just there. And it just kills me that the minors still go to school while filming a survival show. That is just crazy to me, the amount of stress they must be in. And the people probably bombarding them at school after seeing them on a public television show must be insane. I honestly don't know what's worse, them not going to school and completely focusing on the survival show while giving up their education, or them doing it at the same time, but also they're still giving up their education because they're probably not focusing that much on school and they probably are absent 99% of the time because they have to do trainee life and idol life. So yeah, both are very terrible. Kinda wish they weren't debuting minors, but it'll happen anyways. Now we get into the real episode and we start off with the Run to You team, which is what I am so excited for because that is my main vocal team. The focus was on Sen, which you know what that means. Sen is going to be eliminated in the next episode. That's just how it goes with the Mnet tradition. They always give the trainees who are low ranking a little bit of screen time right before they're about to get eliminated in the next episode. Because, of course, that's how Mnet works. I love that the members were treating Sen so nice and, trying to give him confidence. Like Ujin, of course, he was there for him all the time. It honestly made me so sad when Sen was like, "Ugh, the group is ruined because I'm here." Like, no, you're talented, Sen. You just need some confidence and you just need to believe in yourself. You are good. And y'all notice how Hongyu was just like cut out like a ghost? Is this a 3-person team or a 4-person team? Like, there's not that many people in this team where you can cut out Hongyu like this. Like, come on now. So their performance, I just have to say, Hongyu killed it. I am talking about him all the time, but I love him so much. I really wish he will debut. His high note was amazing, and I will replay that part like 100 times. This was my face watching the entire performance. It was so good. All of the members did amazing. Yoonmin, of course, killed it. I think he's gonna be eliminated too. The one thing I love about these live audience recordings is that no phones are allowed. Of course, there are some people who sneak video recordings, but all of them were just singing along and dancing and jumping and dancing to the song. And it was so nice to see because nowadays at concerts, all you see are people like this. That's all you see at a concert, nothing else but that. But here you can actually see them enjoying the performance because that's all they have to do. The live band also killed it. That was a perfect touch to this. But yeah, Yoonmin is rank 48 in the first eliminations, so I really think he's a goner for the next one. The scores were revealed for the team, and Ujin got last place. I was spoiled that he got last, but I did not know that he only got 860 points, which means out of 200 people in the audience, only 86 people voted for him. That's actually crazy. He did the best, if not the second best, next to Hongyu. Like, wow. Next is the Smoke team, and the drama with Chen was so much. Even Justice mentioned, oh, they fought a lot. So clearly, at least a little something was going on, and it's not just Mnet's evil editing. I love that Yechan, stuck with his guns and said, we're gonna do a diss concept, and it actually turned out pretty good for them both. I just thought it was so rude when Ichen just kept interrupting Yechan when he was speaking, even though the leader, he can't even say his opinion without Ichen just saying something back like, my opinion's better. And my goodness, when Ichen pulled out the, do you think I'm a boomer moment, I just couldn't deal with him anymore. The translation I saw was incorrect, but he said, am I a boomer? Like, yes, you are. You are a boomer. Ichen is a full grown adult at the age of like 27, yelling at a 17-year-old child. Like, please, Ichen, what is going on? He was really tripping, thinking that he's older, he can control everything. Seriously, if I was Yechan, I would have cried tears of frustration and anger. But Yechan is better than me with patience because, ooh, I bet he was just focusing on trying to do his best on the performance and make it through this damn mission. Now, onto the performance. Yechan did amazing, and of course, Ichen messed up his rap twice. So, there's that. Even though he said he was gonna do better than Yechan. Now, the lyrics that Yechan wrote, not just me, but many people got a lot to say about you. That killed me. That told me there is some real beef going on between the two of them. And maybe not just the two of them. Maybe a more than two people hate each. Okay, maybe not hate. Just, like dislike. Thank you to the audience for voting for Yechan. And he beat Ichen in the vote. So that is all. I did read some tweets of people saying that it was all evil editing and that Yi-chan and Ye-chan were acting because, of course, they would do that the entire mission. Why would they waste time making up a fake drama during their practice? No, I think it was at least 70% real, which is way too much for Ye-chan to be yelled at by an almost 30-year-old man. And yes, I know that they are in a very stressful situation, but why does Yi-chan have to yell at him? Like, I just really don't understand that part. Next is the bad team. And I love this little moment of Konu making a bad face by biting his lip, and then Shinlong was next to him and gave him a look, and then he looked down and he tried to hold his laughter. They are so cute together. So Dongyu says, this could be my last performance. And then the audience was like, no! Well, spoiler alert, skip ahead like 10 seconds, but Dongyu, he is part of the last three nominees for last place, so he might not survive. Now we move on to their practice time. And it was so devastating for me when Junso said, I think it should be one person who does everything. And then Junso just made Dongyu do it. Like, wow. Wow. He said it should be one person for the flow and consistency of the choreography. And you know what? That part I agree with. But the way he just gave it to Dongyu and said, you do it, that was just so wrong. First of all, you're the killing part and the leader, and you're just like giving everything for Dongyu to do. Please. That is just so mean. And yes, Dongyu has experience choreographing, and the other two don't, but this is just so messed up. And yes, Masato and Junso did make up their own little choreo parts, but they never finished it completely, and Dongyu had to clean it up and put it all together. And even during their interim check, the mentors were like, oh, is Dongyu the killing part? Because his choreo part was so good. It honestly felt like Junso was just ordering him like you would order something on Amazon, like, hey, I'm gonna pay for this, except he's not getting paid. He's just like paying a choreographer, is what it felt like. Once again, Dongyu is an angel because when Junso told Masato, Dongyu's gonna take your all-star place if you keep dancing like that. And then cue Dongyu helping Masato with the choreo and doing one-on-one lessons with him. Seriously, an angel. While Junso is MIA, like where was he? He could have been helping too. Now I just have to say, I must be a cold-hearted biatch because when Masato got all those feedback from the trainees after their performance saying that he was last place and that he needs to do better, and Masato was like starting to feel sad, I was like, okay. Like he started crying after Junso told him off, kind of. And I just didn't feel bad for him at all because his rank is 8. And Masato can't really sing. Never heard him rap. And he's like good at dancing, I guess. But he's so slow at learning the choreo. Mnet has given him the slow learner edit every single episode. During the signal song, during the first rounds, now this round. Every single time, it's always the other trainees helping Masato. I'm kind of like done. His visual is really hard carrying him into the top 8. While Dongyu, who is basically perfect, is out here struggling to survive. After watching the bad performance on stage, I just felt a little angry for Dongyu because it was so good and he made Junso stand out so much with the jumping and the jacket and the killing part that Junso did. Oh my god. The choreo he made let the other two shine so much. Even though Dongyu did have his own moments, I just was so sad for him. Cruel, cruel, cruel world. When the scores came out, I was like, oh, thank the universe, there is some kindness left. There is a little bit of justice because Dongyu beat Masato. You deserve those bonus points after everything you did for the team. Now, I saw people say that, of course, this was another evil edit of Junso, but I don't really believe it because even in his interviews, Dongyu said, I wanted to speak up and say that's not right when he was told to do all the choreo by himself. But he didn't speak up because he couldn't. And he's the youngest, and there's the age hierarchy in Korea and everything. And Dongyu, you deserved better, and you did amazing. Unless Junso or Ichen come out themselves and say directly that it was an evil edit, then I won't believe that it was an evil edit. Because there have been contestants who come out and say it was an evil edit. Even Sowon, who was filmed by a fan saying that he was evil edited, literally this season. He said something like, oh, they're gonna be so messed up or whatever during the first round performances. And Mnet cut that single clip of him saying, oh, they're gonna be so messed up and applied it to the Whiplash team or whatever. And no, he didn't mean that. And that, of course, could be easily evil edited because it's just one phrase. But they had a whole story. So I'm just saying, I don't believe it. Next, we have the tambourine team. And of course, Yumeki is the leader and choreographer for the entire dance of the team. And I'm not surprised that Ichen said, we have a little info, that his choreos are very expensive. Well, I hope that Junso paid Dongyu at least half of what Yumeki is getting paid for his choreos. Because that man really went through so much. Okay, now let's focus on the tambourine team. After the feedback that Kai Wen's killing part did not stand out, Yumeki just rethought everything. It kind of felt like Yumeki was there doing his real job as a choreographer instead of trying to be an idol. This was when we saw Suren start to get very angry and sad that he felt like he was a backup dancer. And then fast forward, Suren says, "You all have fans and I don't," while crying. And I feel so bad for him because, of course, he's like one of the lowest ranks in the entire tambourine team. I think he's eliminated. But honestly, his situation happens like every season where the low ranking trainees or someone feels like a backup dancer in the group. But then Yumeki was so nice. He spent nights just remaking everything to try and make everybody stand out. Heart of gold. Yumeki was the leader, did not take the killing part, even though we all know that he's like one of the best dancers on the entire show. Just saying, Junso. Okay, I gotta move on to the tambourine performance. To be honest, I don't know what happened, but it did not feel like Kaiwen's killing part stood out that much. All I remember is Suren. Also, Jahao is so handsome. God damn, that 1 second of him doing that hip move, that was his moment. And Hao and Suren just stood out so much, especially with Suren doing those little meme moments like the hand clapping with Hanwen or his little like crown moment. It was good. I'm happy that he got more screen time because it's probably his last performance. And I have to say that it's my first time hearing this tambourine song by Eve. I just have to say I don't like it. It's a terrible song. I would never listen to this song again. The lyrics repeat way too much and it just does not sound good. Why did Mnet choose this song? On to the score reveal, and wow, the Koreans really don't like Yumeki because he got 720 points. Only 72 people voted for him, the lowest score out of the entire team, even though he literally made the entire choreo by himself. That's some criminal activity right there. And Kaiwen was so adorable, crying for Yumeki because he was sad that he got the lowest score. Next is the Rose Blossom team, and the team that I was slightly worried about because of the vocals. But of course, I was looking forward to Hanum, and I was thinking every time I saw this team and I saw Park Jun-il, I was like, who does he look like? And I found it. He looks like the child of a famous actor called Lee Joon-gi. They are so similar. It's like the face shape, the eyes, the face, the everything. But we finally have some Hanum screen time, and I love that. During the intern practice, where they did terrible, one star said, "Liu, you're gonna be a singer." And that's all he had to say. And that's all he had to say. In fact, one star continued and he said, "What are you gonna do? It's gonna be even a bigger problem even after you debut." Oh, the truth hurts. I wish everyone voting for him would realize that it's a 5-year contract for this group, please. But they won't anyways. Continue voting for who you want. Now, I giggled when Junior did his little variation because he couldn't hit the notes properly because it's too high for him. He did his variation of the melody, and the master said, it's not good. And Hanum whispers to Liu, "I didn't do it like that." It was so funny because Junior said that Hanum helped him make the variation melody. And it was just so funny. Now, why is it that every single team so far, we have seen one person struggling to carry the entire team on their back because they have to help everybody? Literally, Yechan, Dongyu, Yumeki, and now Hanum. Seriously crazy. Now, I cannot. When Junior wanted to give up his singing part, they showed Hanum at this terrible angle. It was so funny to me. He still looks beautiful, but what is that angle? It was crazy. And Hanum was slow blinking like. Fast forward to their vocal practice, and I love that Hyorin was so warm and caring to the trainees. She said, "This song is to show your message of how you guys are feeling right now, and it's always the female masters that are the nicest. The male masters got something wrong with them." So the performance for Rose Blossom started, and this was me the entire time. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not going to rewatch that performance ever again. It just was so disappointing. It just was not a great cover. Like, even the live band didn't add much to it, and the concept was not very fleshed out. Like, the subway part was random. The scores were whatever. I'm just glad Hanum got a high score. Afterwards, we have the famous team, and this was a song that I was not looking forward to because it's basically like a talk singing song. At their interim evaluation, They were told to rewrite their lyrics to fit their story. And Tejo's original lyrics were about counting money and driving cars. And Tejo said, I don't even have cash. All I have is a subway card. And he doesn't even own a bike because he's a minor and he can't even drive a car either. Literally, why is this so true? Like, some K-pop songs always got idols singing about like flaunting their money and counting cash and driving like a Lamborghini, but they're like 15. Call YG Baby Monster. Anyways, please let us have age appropriate lyrics. Thank you. I was so shocked when Tejo gave up the killing part because he saw that Jaehyun was so sad about it, thinking that he was gonna lose it after he didn't do that well after the trainees evaluations. Tejo was rank 42 and Jaehyun 33. So to be honest, they're kind of like the same. They're both probably going to be eliminated either way. But damn, Tejo, you are so nice. And I'm just saying, this is another big F you to all the people saying, this is a survival show. Everyone's out for themselves. Well, there are many trainees who are very nice and actually like to help other people because they have kindness in their heart. The production team is already cruel enough, and so are the rules of the survival show. The trainees don't have to be cruel to each other. Now, their performance was crazy, especially Tejo. It didn't even matter that he did not get the killing part because every time he's rapped, his part became the killing part. He was so good. His voice, his tone, his attitude, everything was perfect. Seriously, Korea loves ADP so much though, because they were singing along to the fan chant every time, saying, we ain't even famous. Like, damn, didn't know they were that popular. Next is Breathe. And during the vocal training, Beko took them aside and had a little chat with them. He said, Kangmin, you only practice based on looks and how you are perceived on stage. If the song is sad, you have to act sad on stage. And I was like, damn, Beko, that is correct feedback. I was like, I didn't even notice, but now I notice it's so true. During the practice, they showed Kangmin and he was like, oh, and it looked not very genuine. That was some good feedback. And then he said, you're on your 7th year. That's when it gets really hard. Realistically, you're going to have less opportunities. So you really got to pull it together and show that you are desperate for this because afterwards, you really have no chance for anything. You have to act like this is really the last opportunity that you have. And then Kangmin starts crying. After making someone cry, Beko just ran away and said bye. I'm just saying, Kangmin is 7th and Keon is 40th. And he was so much more desperate than Kangmin. So Keon has vocals beautiful. I'm just saying in general, the top trainees, especially like the top 4, I think always get a little too comfortable when they see their ranking. If you know what I mean, like compared to the other trainees who are lower rank, they're a little more like, oh, laid back because, they know they're going to survive at least to the finale. Kyeon's voice really sounds like he was divorced at least once. Not 3 times, but like at least once. We fade to black, and the performance starts with Kyeon playing the piano. And there's a little message on screen that says, if you had a hard time today, how about you stay here and rest a while? And I was like, yes, 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 making me cry, making me cry. I'm ready. Every season, I look forward to the ballad performances so much because if you can make me cry, you stole my heart, and I will vote for you. 99% of the time, it's the vocal stages that I rewatch a million times because I'm so amazed by how beautiful they are singing. I finished the performance and I just have to say, it did not make me cry, but it did make Sang-won cry. And it made me laugh when they showed him just like dabbing his tears. Yehyun's vocals were seriously very beautiful. All 3 of them did honestly very good. So I'm happy that Yehyun actually got the top score, but I still think he's eliminated because rank 40 is just way too low. Plus, Mnet showed this episode one day before voting closes, so he basically had no chance. Moving on to the Queen Ka team. How are we gonna go from sad to sexy rock sound? Listening to Inu and Shiwan's vocals during the interim check, I was like, damn, I wish you two were in the Rose Blossom team instead. What a shame. Of course, we saw Sangyeon can't sing on pitch, so there was that. And his voice is so distinct and unique that it does not blend in at all. It sounds so weird. Not weird, like it just stands out so much compared to the other trainees. As a team, his voice does not blend in. Your voice can be unique, but it just doesn't feel harmonious with the group, if you know what I'm saying. At least Sangyeon is aware that he has no skills to be on third place, but he said he's working on it. Maybe you work a little faster because the finale's like almost here. I was laughing when I watched the performance because they kept the Kim Kardashian and Ariana line, and of course, Sangyeon had to sing that part. I seriously thought breaking the guitar was so stupid. Why did they even do that? It added nothing to the performance. I guess the stage was fun, a little bit. Definitely not my favorite out of everything so far. I also thought it was a little disappointing, but funny. I would not rewatch it. But I cannot believe that Leo got the lowest score out of the entire team. Seriously, the audience is so weird with these votings. I don't know how they're deciding who they're voting for because Leo literally carried the performance. He was like the leader and the killing part, and he literally carried the vocals so hard. Of course, Inu and Shiwon did very good also, but goddamn, how did he get the lowest score? Lower than Sangyeon. So Justice has left the room again. Finally, the last team is La 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 by Stray Kids, and we see that Gonu, of course, is the leader, and he let everyone choose a part that they want to choreograph, and I love that he involved everybody in the group because it's a dance position. And Konu said that he would put everything together because, he's the leader. So he will organize it all and add their pieces so it looks harmonious in the end. And I love that. What a great leader. We see that the miners get off at like 10 p.m. or something, according to Korean labor law, and the rest of the team continued practicing until a staff was asked, hey, so like what time is it right now? And the staff said, it's 2 a.m. Oh my god, the staff must be pissed off as hell because they are working super overtime. Knowing Korean work culture, I bet it's the exact same staff who has been there since like the morning of when they wake up and film the trainees. Like seriously crazy long hours. After hearing this, Shinlong was like, oh, we can have breakfast now. I love that for him. And then they continued practicing until 3 a.m. And all of the members were like, yep, we just gotta practice. Like, damn, y'all are so serious. Some of y'all really seriously crazy passionate about your jobs or potential job. I also love that Konu tried to learn like a little Chinese phrase here and there to communicate with the members. We love a member that tries to be inclusive. Even in the behind the scenes that was recently uploaded, Gonu said a little Chinese to a Korean member, and the Korean member did not understand. Now, Chen Bowen, who was the minor in the group and who got off practice early, did amazing during the performance. So I just have to say, maybe y'all don't have to stay up till 3 a.m. to practice. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Maybe you could go to sleep and let your body rest so that you could actually feel more energized instead of getting like 1 hour of sleep. That might be better for your health. The performance for La 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 starts, and Shinlong's face carding because he is so beautiful. Jesus Christ. He really looks like a wolf alpha male. Mnet putting in Hyorin's reaction is so funny because her eyes are like huge and her nails are so long. The performance was so good, and Shinlong is seriously the definition of killing a part because every time he was on screen, his aura was everything. All the members did so good, and I just feel a little bad for Lin Lin and Bowen because they got the lowest scores and they were not popular with the Koreans. Finally, we made it to the team score reveals, and we start off with the vocal team, and Rose Blossom got first place. Absolutely insane. Ain't no way in hell that they got first place with that performance, where Junior was literally offbeat, and their vocals were like, what? I'm sorry, but they did not deserve first place at all. I would have been like whatever if it was any other team but Rose Blossom. Of course, I wanted Run to You to be first place, but any other team except for Rose Blossom because that performance was not first place deserving. And then Famous won first place for the rap teams, and I was like, okay, as you can tell, I'm not a big fan of rap. Now, the dance teams. I just have to say, every time I see Konu, I love his big ass ears. They're so funny and cute to me. It reminds me of Dumbo the elephant. You could fly. And the La team won with 1,630 points, which is the highest out of everybody. They also won the M Countdown and the mini online fan sign. So good for them. Did anyone notice how basically like all the other teams, except for the vocals, got very high scores? And I was like, so like what? Honestly, the vocals were a little lacking, the vocal performances, but also the song choices weren't that amazing either. And I don't know. The audience did not like those vocal performances. Now, the episode is finally over, and here is a mini spoiler if you did not know. But the three candidates for the last 24th place is Dongyu, Jaeyi, and Harryjun. I'm just saying it's sad that Bowen, Lin, and Ji are probably eliminated, but at least they have a chance to be on an M countdown and have a mini online fan meeting before they go. The elimination rumors are worse than last time because apparently only 5 C trainees survive. I really hope that's not true because that would be insane. This got me wishing that we still had C Planet and K Planet to debut 2 groups, but of course, Mnet had to throw that idea away. My favorite performance was Run to You, and I will probably be rewatching that like 300 times. Hello, I am back for episode 8 of Boys to Planet, which is the eliminations. The episode starts off with the trainees doing a horror escape room mission, and if they fail to escape, they have to spend the night at an abandoned hospital. Oh no! Hell no! Only 24 out of the 48 can escape, and they must find their own name tag. If I was playing the game, I would be such a menace, because if I found another trainee's name tag, I would take that and hide it or carry it with me the entire time. I was so excited to watch this, and then Mnet said, you can watch it on September 9th on YouTube. Thanks, Mnet. So we watched the aftermath of that with the 24 remaining players, and they play the rest of the game. And it turns out it's a promo for Mnet's original content called Sumpakokyu, which is hide and seek, where they get idols to do a scary abandoned house horror hide and seek concept. And you know what? Damn you, Mnet. The trainees have to find 8 puzzle pieces, and then they can unlock the exit and get out of there. They also have to avoid Ghost, or if they're caught, they will be eliminated and sent to prison. Now, there were so many interesting moments, like when a seeker tried to grab Ichen, he frickin' jumped and rolled on top of a counter like a superhero kind of parkour master. How did he do that? Amazing. He even landed perfectly, like it was nothing for him to jump over that counter like that. What the? I saw a tweet saying he's so freaking good. Is it in his DNA or something? And if you didn't know, Ichen's ancestor was a revolutionary fighter for the Korean independence. And we saw a moment of Sangwon who was just standing next to an open door and he thought that was hiding. A seeker just like walked by and he was right there and was like, huh? And then you just grabbed him and eliminated him. Like, what was that? Plus, Sangwon still screamed when he got caught. Like, what were you thinking? Y'all thought you were actually hiding so good? Or what was going on? Sen was hiding in a locker. And then a seeker came, opened the locker, grabbed him. And then there was a cut. And Sen was being pushed away in a wheelchair. It was like Sen was a mental hospital patient. The game ended, and we got a shot of Kaiwen just sitting in the wheelchair surrounded by the crazy-ass looking staff in their costumes, and he was just smiling like an idiot. Adorable. I feel like this segment could have been so much more fun, but it was so short, and we didn't even see if the trainees actually spent a night in the hospital, which I kind of wanted to watch. Thanks very much, Mnet. So the elimination announcement finally starts, and San's entrance was so dramatic. Yes, San from ATEEZ. All the lights were off, and then one by one in a domino effect, the stairs lit up, and sitting at the top on seat number 1 was San, looking like an alpha male. Just kidding, it did not start. We are shown the trainees prepping for the 3rd round performances. Because, of course, we gotta see some of that. And Minghao is the special MC where he shows all the 4 songs, which we already all know because we voted. Or if you didn't vote, now you know. Lucky Macho. I'm gonna have to skip. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but some people say it's really good. Maybe, so Now Chains, they showed Chains and the choreo, and you just see Anshin's reaction when they were lying on the ground, thrusting their hips up into the air. What was that? Anshin said, no, that's dirty. Of course, we have Sugar High, which is the token cute song, and we'll see if it lives up to Say My Name from the previous season. And then I was dead when they showed Plave was the producers for Main Dish. I was not expecting that. Like, I love me some Plave songs like Wait for Love, but Main Dish is not it. So the first place team gets 150,000 points, an M countdown stage, and an offline fan sign. And the first place trainee of the first place team gets an extra 150,000 points. So, of course, another free pass into the next finale round. But we all know it's probably going to be a top ranking trainee who gets it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Now the trainees are going into their teams that were selected by the store creators. And Mnet was so dramatic, they just had to put Ye-chan saying, I got PTSD, when Yi-chen entered into the same team as him. Jongxing is up next, and we see him, and I think it's the last time we'll see him say sexy. The sexy man might be gone. We all know you wanted Chains, but he got Main Dish. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Star Creators? Every single person who voted for him to Main Dish? What was going on in your brain? We all know he wanted sexy. So what happened? Clearly, out of all the trainees, this is the one person where you know what they want 100%. He has been pushing his sexy agenda since the moment he stepped foot on Korea. Like, what is going on? How did he get Main Dish? Now, the way I kind of rolled my eyes when I saw that the rumor was actually true, that the Whiplash 2.0 is Chains, because basically the entire Whiplash team is there in Chains, except for a few of them. It's like all the top 8 in one team. I also found it so interesting how a majority of the trainees want to do a sexy concept or very mature, even though they're like so young. It happens every season. And I'm just like, why don't y'all do something that fits your age? Like, please. I think we all know who's going to win the live audience vote for these round 3 performances. But of course, anything can happen. But I'm just saying the possibilities are like 95% in my opinion. Now it's practice time for the songs. And we start with Lucky Macho. Harry June is the leader, and he split the 12 trainees into 2 teams with the idea of having different trainees in different teams because he doesn't want to repeat the same image as in previous missions. Which, thank you, Harry June. Thank you very much. We want some diversity. Harry was also chosen as a killing part. And, oh my god, he said he wanted to survive and keep his part. And Junmin also got killing part, because they have to have 2 people per part on the song, since we don't know who will be eliminated. There was such a cute moment when the older members in the team were welcoming Jaehyun because he's the youngest, and he was playing with them and making him comfortable. And then one of them grabbed him onto that tiny ass single bed, and there were like 3 people on one bed, and I was like, wow, okay. Back to their practice, and the way Harry is just so nice and helping like all the trainees and teaching them everything. Such a good leader. And he kept doing it with no thoughts about the elimination or anything, because if he thought about it, he would get very sad and have no motivation to do anything. On to Sugar High, and Sowon and Hanum are the leaders, and Sowon and Masato got chosen as the killing parts. And of course, as the Mnet tradition in this season, Masato gets another edit of being the struggle character, where everybody helps Masato. It's the 4th time. I can't do it no more, Mnet. I can't do it no more, Mnet. But seriously, the members are so passionate and so young. Like Chingwi, Yunso, Hyunjin, and Tatsuki were all like leading the performance and directing and helping the choreo. Like, damn, y'all are so talented. And then there was a moment where they went to Baekhyung's dance studio, 1 Million, and he judged them during the little practice. And he said the song is from the perspective of a cat. I did not expect that. Cats are taking over K-pop recently. We got Meow, Say My Name, Eyelet, so many cats recently. Now is the Chains team. and they were picking their leaders, and Junso turns out to be the leader again. But Kangmin said he wanted to be leader, yet he saw that Junso wanted it, so he just gave up. I'm like, what? What? When Junso asked the entire room of 12 people who wants to be leader, not a single person rose their hand. What the hell? Nobody? Not a single person like, hey, I want to try it this time. You know, like something? And most of them haven't been leader before, so I'm like so confused. Like, wouldn't you want to try something new? I don't know. So Junso gets the leader for the 4th time on this show. And in the next scene, we see them deciding the killing part, where 6 of them raise their hand to challenge for it, except for Sangwon. And seeing this, Junso pulls him aside to talk to him and says, I want you to do killing part so that we win first place. Okay, Sangwon, for the 3rd time killing part. Okay, sure. Give him everything. God. And I was a little like, what? When Junso said, I want you to do it after the eliminations, when the teams are reformed, because that's when the members change. So basically, I took that as whoever gets the killing part now, it doesn't even matter, because he's gonna try and give it to Sangwon. Why? Anyways, Anshin and Jahao got the killing parts. For now. I don't know. I didn't see the spoiler yet for who got the killing part, but there were people uploading the entire performances on Twitter. So on to the main dish team. And Lee Zihao is the new leader. And yes, something new. Majority of this team, very low ranked trainees. So not looking too good. Taejo, who is very low rank, was looking for Zihao in his dorm. And Zihao was showering. He came back later. 20 minutes later, still showering. And the entire time, Zihao was singing in the shower the Signal song, having a whole concert, singing Max the Power. And I was like, wow, they still kept their mics turned on while the trainees are in the bathroom. Isn't that a little, I don't know, invasion of privacy? But I guess this entire damn show is an invasion of privacy because they got cameras on them sleeping and everything. So, you know what? Little, all right. So Taejo waits in the hallway at the stairs, and in the stairs in the hallway, they have a washing machine next to a water dispenser. And then sitting right next to them is Dang Hong-hai practicing by himself. And I thought that picture was just so interesting and weird. Like, what? Finally, Zihao finishes his 30-minute, 40-minute concert in the shower, and he gets down with a little talk to Taejo, where Taejo says that he's lost all motivation and he doesn't really want to practice anymore because he knows he's probably going to be eliminated. Honestly, so true. If I was in their place, I don't think I would have wanted to practice either. Now, I never understood why mnet always organizes and schedules everything so that they have to be eliminated before they practice. Like for the first round performances, if you practice, you're probably going to be on stage. But after that, if you practice, you might not be on stage. Like all that effort just disappears into the air. Why? It's just so cruel. If they could organize it and schedule it so that the first performances were like that, why can't they do it for the rest of the performances? So the trainees can actually, get what they practice for, performing in front of fans. Zihao is honestly so encouraging and so nice. And he was like, I can't give up before my fans give up on me. And damn, that's how you know he loves his job. He comforts Taejo by saying everybody has a building in their heart, in their mind. And if that building collapses, it'll be very hard to fix. And he said, mnet, air my legendary quote right now. It's just like the umbrella quote from Hoshinlo. Yes, we love that. But the ranks are so low. Shiwan, in the same team, he said, I hope at least 6 of us survive to practice and perform this song. No! And then we get this random segment of mnet making the trainees scream into the sky their ambitions and their goals for the future. This was so random. Why? And some of the trainees were literally on their knees, like praying, screaming. Hongyu was like screaming crazy like a person. What was that? So finally, the eliminations begin, and I checked the timestamp, and we are 1 hour and 30 minutes into this damn episode. Vocal teams are first. Liu got 10th place. Okay, next. 13th is the next announcement, and drum roll please. I would be thinking it was Hanum, Ujin, Hongyu, But no, it's Park Junil who rose from 35 to 13. Are you kidding me? That is a miracle. How did that happen? What? I bet it's because everybody was talking about how he was part of Trainee A. So all those fans who love Sangwon and Leo, they're like, oh, he was part of Trainee A. I'm gonna vote for him too. And then we see that Hanum got 14. And I was like, damn, he is really being hard carried by those Korean votes because he got like 600k Korean votes and only 300k global votes. I'm like, I'm part of the global votes, Hanum. And then we got Hungyu, who is 15th. And I'm like, no, why your rank dropping? Please. And he got 350k for Korean votes and 1.2 million for global votes. That's crazy. He is being hard carried by the international fans. I honestly wonder how different the lineup would be if we had one group that was based only on global votes and another group based solely on Korean votes. That'd be interesting. And then Woojin got 16th place, and I was like, I'm so surprised because he fits so many of the Korean beauty standards. Like, he's tall, young, very tiny head. Yes, I know that's a weird one, but very tiny head, V-shaped face, can sing, is handsome. Like, damn. And they don't like him. I bet it's because those dumb rumors that started at the beginning of the show. But hopefully that changes after the performance. So that was the end of the vocal teams, and we move on to another fun segment. Literally, what kind of prank was this? The staff were saying that the trainees won a chance to be a model for a beauty and health store or something. Jaehyun's face and reaction was all you needed to know for this. He said, huh? They got the trainees doing all sorts of weird things like putting foam on their hands and then slapping each other. And then, of course, Jongxing, our resident sexy, he started doing his signature pose, staring up 45-degree angles, hand on his neck. And then we zoom out and he was putting his hand under his shirt, reaching up to his neck. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. All this for a beauty and a health store model. The minors are watching. He takes sexy very seriously. And the next prank is a fake reporter from the LA Times doing an English interview only. The questions were honestly wild. Like, I don't know how the trainees didn't know it was a prank, but I mean, some of them understood because some of them are fluent in English, but like the ones who didn't, why would they have an interview with no translator provided? You know what I'm saying? That would be dumb. Literally, one of the questions the reporter asked was, if K-pop were to influence other cultures, what values do you believe it should convey? Like, damn, that is a deep-ass question for these trainees. I want them to ask that to an actual artist right now and see what they say. But of course, mnet cut out all the answers. Like, I want to know what they said. And in response to this, Taejo said, can you speak Korea? Every single time a trainee was asked a long-ass question in English, they start off by leaning back, sucking air in, and they're like, And you know what? Very relatable in any foreign language. I was so curious if they actually answered properly any of the questions. But we move on to the eliminations for the rap team. Lee-jung got 12th place. Wow. How in the heck did that happen? And then Zihao got 17th place. That is clearly a miracle right there. And then the trainees started chanting his name, Lee Zihao, Lee Zihao. Honestly, I love the C trainees bond so much. They support each other so well. So it was over, and we move on to the dance teams. And a big ass miracle happens because Junmin gets 11th place. Both of the WHIP members survived, Lee-jung and Junmin, bless their hearts. I'm just saying, this happened only because he got shown in the first episode of the performances. Because if he was shown in the second episode, he would not have rose that high in the ranks. Absolutely no way. Because there was no time for people to vote. That extra week of voting really helped him. Kaiwin and Jahao got 18th and 19th, and both of them barely got 200k Korean votes. So they're really, being carried by those international fans. Yoonso got 20th. Chingwi got 21 and Yumeki got 22. So Yumeki is dropping too. I'm not sure if he's gonna survive until the next round. Finally, we're on to the top 8, and I'm happy for Kangmin that he got 8th place. But Misato was 9th. Kind of like cheering on the inside for that. You know what? I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. You know what? It's whatever. And then I said, yes! When Konu got 7th place. My man is finally in the top debut ranks. That's my Dumbo ear boy. And he did a little speech in English, and I'm like, damn, his English is so good. Since when did he speak English so well? And he said, I can finally sit in a cushy chair. And honestly, yeah, those plastic chairs look so uncomfortable. And you bet they've been sitting in those chairs for at least like over an hour. Mnet, please release those English interviews right now. I need to know. Shinlong got 4th place, and he was so happy he started dancing to Ice on My Teeth by ATEEZ. Good for him. Now it's time for the biggest surprise, you guys. The top 3. I didn't know what to expect. And then Sangwon got number 1, and Anshin got number 2, and Leo got number 3. Wow, I'm so surprised, you guys. And Sangwon got 12 million votes. People are always saying, you know what? Nobody is secure. Anybody can change and be debuted. And you know what? No. Some people are secured. Someone does not need my vote. I'm in the minority, but I'm like, if I see a popular trainee, like, he really does not need my vote. I'm not gonna vote for him. Like, I like him. If he debuts, perfectly fine. But he doesn't need my vote. So I'm gonna vote for someone else because he's gonna debut. Now, how in the hell did Hanwen get rank 23? I did not expect that at all. Honestly, he thought he would be eliminated too because he didn't even prepare a speech. But then he said, everyone deserves to stay more than I do. And I was like, oh my god. The self-awareness hurts. And he was crying while saying this. And of course, as we saw, Dongyu survives at 24th. And Harry-jun and Ji get eliminated. In his speech, Dongyu was crying, thanking Harry-jun for being there for him, for everything, and talking with him through those nights. I love the friendships that the trainees make on the show so much, because you can tell some of them are so deep and real, and it's because they suffer so much while being on this show. Plus, all of them have the same dream. Imagine bonding with a bunch of people who have the exact same dream as you, who want you to achieve the same stuff, and you're all working hard towards it. That's some next level bonding right there. And then we got this cute little shot of Jiayang and Jinyu. And I think they're like living together or something. I don't know. I saw them together on an Instagram live. It is now nearing the end, and the goodbyes are the worst for me. It honestly feels like everything went by so fast. We're literally almost at the finale. The semi-finale performances are already filmed and done, and they're practicing for the finale now, so that's crazy. Honestly, can't not believe that the fan sites are so bold now. They're just uploading the entire performances on Twitter. Like, that's crazy. If you haven't seen them, you can easily look them up and find it if you want spoilers. You just have to go on Twitter if you want to see any of the live updates, because there are so many people seeing them out in Korea, like taking pictures of them, mobbing them. Not good. Don't do that, please. Y'all scary. Stay away from them. We need some social distancing. Anyways, I'm excited to see the performances next week. Hopefully they show all of them. They probably will, I think, if I remember correctly. And then there will be a filler episode. So yeah, goodbye. And I hope your picks survive. I still can't believe how many amazing trainees got eliminated, and we are back for Boys to Planet episode 9. And let me tell you, this episode got me on a roller coaster of emotions. The episode starts off with the restructuring of the teams, and Lucky Macho needs 1 member, while Main Dish needs 5, because Lisa Hao was the only member remaining after the eliminations. Members of Sugar High and Chains had to line up for the song that they wanted, and there was this moment with Woojin holding on to Yoonso's hand saying, "Are you trying to leave?" And yes, Yoonso wanted to leave for Lucky Macho because he clearly did not want to do a cute song like Sugar High, but sadly he did not get chosen. Kaiwen also decided to line up because he thought he would be kicked out of Chains, and to be honest, I think he would have been kicked out too, so good on him for leaving on his own. Anyways, Junil was chosen to be in Lucky Macho, and let me tell you, I cannot see him the same way anymore after what I saw on Twitter. I did not want to see it, but it just showed up on my timeline. And if you know what I'm talking about, it's too much. Every time I see him, that's all I think about now. And it's weird. I really wish I never saw that video on my timeline. Anyways, Hongyu and Kaiwen join main dish. And they are still missing 3 members for main dish, so now the teams have to decide who to kick out. And the method for kicking a person out is that if you are not reassigned a part of the song, then you have to leave. And honestly, I think this method was way better than previous seasons, where Mnet just made them vote for who they wanted to perform with, and then the person who got no votes had to be kicked out. Sugar High was deciding on sub-vocal 2 and sub-vocal 3 between Liu, Yoonso, and Chingwi. And somebody please tell me I am not crazy, because during the audition for the parts, Liu sounded awful. I'm not joking right now. He was awful at that part. In that moment when they were reassigning the singing parts, I'm not saying Yoonso or Chingwi did perfect for the audition, but Liu did the worst out of all 3. Maybe I have to get my ears checked. Maybe Liu sounded way better live in the room, but I was so confused when all of them voted to save Liu and Yoonso and kick out Chingwi. Next is the Chains team. And ooh, damn, Kangmin was not having a good day because his voice was not there for that time when they were reassigning the parts. He failed every single audition, and then when there was a rapper part left, he said, I'm not gonna do it. He looked visibly upset and angry, and all the other team members could feel it. Leo asked him, are you sure you don't want to try out for the last part? Like, at least try. And he said, I'm fine. In lightning speed. That's how you know he is not fine. That man is angry. Now all the members come together, and Hongyu was so excited to see Kangmin, saying that he's like a lucky charm coming to their team. Little did we know, this would be the foreshadowing of something darker. On to Lucky Macho. And for the first time, Dongyu is the leader. Blessed for that. We love something new. And Junmin is the killing part. The battle was between Junmin and Shinlong, and Junmin won the killing part. But during the voting, Hanwen was the only one who did not vote for Junmin, and he had this look like, oh! It's always C trainees supporting C trainees, and I love that. Back to Sugar High, and Yoonso has his work cut out for him because he is the performance director and the choreographer director for everything on the entire team, and he is struggling because all of them are singers except for I think Masato, who's a dance musician. I might be wrong. So yes, Yoonso was struggling. Those vocal members were having a hard time keeping up with Yoonso. And then we see Chains, and of course Sangwon gets the killing part for the 3rd time. Now back to main dish, and Kangmin was fighting for his life trying to get that killing part. In 10 minutes, he got down the choreo, got down the song, and he said, this is mine, and he danced like his bones were about to break. And you know what? He deserved to get that killing part. He really did amazing in those 10 minutes. Fade to the next morning, and we see the trainees on a morning run, and honestly, I thought the morning run exercise was a thing they only did like once, you know, for the fun of it to show on the broadcast, but it seems like they do a morning run exercise every single morning, and that seems so messed up. Like, these trainees get enough cardio from all the dancing that they do, so why does Mnet make them exercise even more? Just to tire them out. So we finally start the performances, and Lucky Macho is number 1. They had a very positive storyline, of course, focusing on Dongyu and Junmin. They were always the first 2 to wake up at 9 a.m. or earlier and get there before everybody else, and damn, that is some dedication right there. Now for their stages, it makes me giggle when they do the little intros, and all of them were trying to act cool. They just did a little ooh and a head nod. For some reason, I thought it was a little awkward for this team, but it was cute nonetheless. For this song, I thought the choreo was very nice to watch, very cool, but the song was not giving me anything. Nothing at all. The members were amazing. Again, Junmin killed the killing part. And Donggyu's vocals were very good. And also Hanwon was a surprise. He improved so much compared to the previous missions. And you know what? Good job, Hanwon. I was expecting a big pop-off at the end of the song, but it never came. The song had such a fast beat, and I was thinking, oh, something's gonna happen. Something's gonna explode at the end. And then it just ended. Okay, not the song for me. The performance ended and the scores were revealed, and Junmin got 1,850 points, the highest out of all of them. And then we also see that Hanwen got like 1,500 points and beat Shinlong. I'm sorry, what? No. The live audience always has to be weird. Up next is Sugar High, our token cute song. And of course, during the interim check, they did not do good. And while watching the interim check, Ijung was like, ooh, they're really not in sync. And you know what? I don't blame them that much. After the peer review, they read all the feedback, which said their dance sucked. And I just have to say, they kicked out Qingwei, one of the best dancers so far, for Liu, who brings what to the table? I'm sorry. No, I can't be sorry. I'm honestly confused because Qingwei was one of the members who helped put together the entire performance with Yunso, and then they just kicked him out. I don't get it, but whatever. In the end, it all worked out, I guess. And then we have this scene of Masato and Yunso where they're sharing a room, and Masato said, Yunso, you really are the heart of our team. And you know what, Masato, yes, he is, because he's the one holding this damn team together with the dance. Without him, y'all would have failed on the performance aspects. But anyways, at this point, I'm watching, and I'm like, it'll be fine anyways, because 9 times out of 10 during the semi-finale performances, all of them are perfectly fine, and they rarely make mistakes. So the song starts, and damn, mnet really spent some money on the set design. Like, it looks very cute. Hanum and Ujin, of course, took my eyeballs and my eardrums. Loved them dearly. But I felt this song was very boring. It just kind of went nowhere. Literally, what is with the original songs this season? Now, are you feeling hungry? I think it's time for dinner because we have the team main dish. I could feel the intense energy of them dancing during their interim check. Like they were trying to break through the screen or something. It was crazy. Now this was when I started to get a little nervous because I did get slightly spoiled about Hungyu and something going on. So I was like, oh, here we go. Something's coming. And something came. We finally got some Hungyu screen time, and it was not in the good way. Hungyu was struggling to memorize the choreo, and he was getting angry at himself, but we could also see that Kangmin was getting pissed because slowly, even though he was helping him learn the choreo, he was being more and more curt and short with Hungyu because the practice was taking longer than usual to proceed. Now fast forward to their stage rehearsal, and Justice notices that Hungyu does not seem to be in good condition. Like he was slapping his face, like trying to wake up and focus. Probably didn't get any sleep because he was practicing. And here we go, the moment I did not want to happen. The rehearsal ends and Hungyu says, I'm struggling really hard right now, and you could hear the tremble in his voice and like the slight shake in his body. Honestly, I had to pause multiple times while watching this because I did not want to see what was about to happen, I was about to hear. He was crying and trembling on stage, and one star, the vocal mentor, says, get a grip. You should not be spreading your depressed vibes to the other teammates. When I tell you my jaw dropped hearing this, are you kidding me? What in the world is wrong with him? My jaw dropped off and descended to hell because where are we right now? They got off stage after hearing that bullshit, and the C trainee members, of course, were comforting Hungyu and telling him he can do it. They're encouraging him, and then of course Kangmin comes along and says, "You shouldn't have done that." Shouldn't have done what? What is he saying? Kangmin, what the hell? Where has the humanity gone? You think making him feel worse about himself after hearing the terrible words from that mentor will make him practice harder? Like, he's having a breakdown right now. And while crying, Hungyu says to Junso, does he even see me as part of the team? And you keep this moment in mind because it will come back later. Kangmin and One Star, you are on my shit list for this. I honestly can't bring myself to like you anymore. I supported you, I voted for you, and I just, like, this moment turned me off so bad. How you treat other people while they're literally crying, trembling, and having a breakdown shows a lot about your personality, no matter how stressed you are in the situation. Kangmin cried in front of Beko, and guess what the other members did? They comforted him, so I'm just saying, something ain't right. Because he sees Hungyu struggling and crying, and that's what he says? And then in Kangmin's personal interview, he says, I was angry because I didn't like Höngyu's attitude. It did not fit the song. Excuse me? The performance starts and my mood was already destroyed, gone, after what I just heard and watched because of Kangmin and One Star. Y'all notice how after Jongshin was eliminated, they went on to the next C trainee that was having a hard time and struggling, and they said, we're gonna break you down too. Y'all saw Junmin was struggling in the previous mission, and the mentors were cheering for him, praising him. Not just Connie, I'm saying Baek Young was also saying, you can do it, Junmin. And for Hongyu, he didn't get none of that. For Jongshin, he didn't get none of that. Not an ounce of sympathy was shown for the C trainees. But anyways, the performance was very good. I'm honestly surprised. I like this song way better than Lucky Macho. But I cannot deny talent. Of course, Kangmin did amazing at his killing part. And he got number 1 with 1,930 points. And he says in his personal interview, I finally feel like I received recognition. And I'm so glad you got that recognition after stepping on somebody. Good for you, Kangmin. And he also says, I don't care about the benefit anymore, because he got first place. And while crying, Hongyu says to Junso, does he even see me as part of the team? Wow. And you know what? The benefit is only for the first ranking team, so he really don't give a damn about this team. That's how you know he only cared about himself. And you know what? Some people think that's what you're on the survival show for. So, okay, good for you. Don't think about the team. Chun Kai-win got second place, and honestly I'm surprised because this is the first performance where I actually noticed him and he did very good, especially his rap part. Finally, it's the Chains team, and their visuals are truly insane. Their visuals got me locked up in chains. So beautiful. And during the intern practice, we learned that Jang Jae-hao is the master's favorite. Of course, very deserving. But his ranking keeps dropping, and I seriously hope he survived. He lost the killing part to Sang-won, who, again, this is his third time. The way Jae-hao dances the parts of the choreo was insane. Insane, let me tell you. His body control is out of this world. He seriously exudes the sexiness of the song. So Sangwon gets his positive screen time where he says, oh, How is on my mind. How is on my mind. So you know what? I'm gonna switch my part with him. I'm gonna give him sub-vocal 3. Instead of 8 seconds for his rap part, he can get 13 seconds. Sangwon really said, oh, How, you have a penny? Here, let me give you a quarter. This is a life lesson. Just like in this survival show, life is like this. The rich get richer and the poor stay poor. Sangwon even asked Jae-hao for help with the killing part. And watching him, Sangwon says, it's like eating at a Michelin star restaurant. He is just different. And yes, you are correct, Sangwon, because Jae-hao is crazy with the dancing. I really feel like it should have been Jae-hao, but fast forward to the Chains performance, and oh my god, the intro was giving like a Mama Awards performance. I was blown away. Amazing. What the fuck? Jang Jae-hao! No! I was watching him dance and oh my god! Insane! The performance. The way he dances, I could feel the sexiness, the everything, the vibes through the screen. The way he did this part. How he do that? How did he do that? He is a snake. Like, his body movements are crazy. I just have to say, that is a performance you pay money to watch. 1,000 out of 10. The Chains performance was amazing. And now I am in love with the song. The scores came out and y'all are telling me Jae-hao only got 1,430 points. That's crazy. He deserved a 2,000 point full 100 score in my heart. That's what you got, Jae-hao. Seriously, I went straight away to watch his fan cam on YouTube, and you need to do that right now because the full performance was not shown on the broadcast. You need to bless your eyeballs watching him dance because Jesus Christ. Finally, we are at the end and the entire mission scores were revealed for the teams, and of course, Chains won first place, but very deserving. 10 out of 10 on all categories. At the end of the episode, we got Mnet's tradition of revealing 1 or 2 rankings, and we see that Junmin is 16 and Jong Sang-hyun is 17, fighting for the last place to survive in the finale. And I'm just saying, I think I know who mnet is pushing, and it's Sanghyun. They trying to save him. Honestly, I'm screaming because who do I vote for? There's just so many that I want to vote for, but I can't. I only have one choice now, and I'm going crazy because I don't know who to choose. I gotta pray that my picks debut. I skipped through the live Survivor announcement, and they teased the finale songs. Song number 1 is called Brat Attitude. Are you kidding me? And song number 2 is called Never Been to Heaven. What the hell? The faces of the trainees while listening to the song previews tell you everything. And then they released a hint for the group's debut name. And oh my god, please don't let it be true, but I saw some people guessing, and one of the guesses was Alpha 1. I really hope that's not true, but considering the branding of this entire season with mnet pushing the boys max the power and alpha energy, I think it's going to be true, something with alpha. There are so many guesses on Twitter and someone is bound to be right. I just hope the name isn't as crazy as I think it will be. Anyways, now I have to go rewatch the Chain's performance, so thank you. And we will meet for the next elimination, which is the final one before the finale. Hello, I'm Evan, and we are back for Boys to Planet, episode 10, which is the third and final elimination. As you can see, I am wearing black to commemorate, or to feel sad for this ceremony, because we all know what happened. Now this episode starts off with some of their short vlogs, and I kind of wish this segment was longer because we got to see some of their daily life, and I can't believe that Yoonso was still going to school while filming this show, and he signed over like 100 signatures for his schoolmates. I cannot believe that. That is so much. But anyways, that's it for the vlogs. They really didn't show that much. It felt just way too short to get any depth of the characters of the trainees. And I feel like that's such a big thing that's missing this season, that we just don't see enough of the trainees at all. Previous season, we had so much YouTube content and they were having so much fun on there, and we were having fun too. But this season, it feels so empty and everything went by so fast. But anyways, on to the actual elimination. The trainees were shown the previews for the finale songs, Brat Attitude and Never Been to Heaven. I still cannot get over those stupid song titles. Maybe they will impress me. There was also a hint for the debut group name, and Gonu says Alpha 2-1. No! No! What kind of name is that? Don't say that. And the other trainees were saying 1 base 1 or max 1. Oh my god! But they know that Alpha will be included in the name because so many of them were saying, oh, it's definitely gonna have something with Alpha and the number 1. Now we're only talking about some of the surprise rankings because, of course, on Twitter, all the rumors, which turned out to be true, there was no suspense for this episode at all because basically everybody was spoiled, and even mnet spoiled this because they showed in the preview all the trainees that survived. So anyways, Kaiwen, rank 12. Crazy. I cannot believe that he shot up so fast, and it's wild because he has no screen time. I seriously don't even know his personality. Like, he's cute, I guess, but I know nothing about him. I don't remember him from many performances at all. I don't know how people are voting for him, but he has a very strong one-pick fandom. They were announcing rank 10, and Lisa Howe says, I think it's the end for me. No! And there was this cute little moment when Hanwon said, oh, Kaiwen stabbed me in the back. We promised each other that we would go back together and play games. But now he's going back alone. And then we get this random TMI moment where Baekho, the special master, asked the trainees questions. The first one was Hongyu, who was spotted wearing the exact same shirt on multiple days. And I don't know about you, but I am a chronic outfit repeater. I don't know what is so wrong about wearing the same shirt. Plus, those photos of him were taken when he was like going to work, going out on a regular day. Do you expect him to dress up like an amazing supermodel or something? Like, damn. His answer to why are you wearing the same shirt all the time is, it's not that I don't have money to buy clothes. And then we don't get the answer because mnet cut it out. Like, what? Next, Who is Yunso's favorite brother? And the candidates were Kangmin, Dongyu, Masato, and Shinlong. And the answer for Yunso was Leo. Okay, thank you. Next, we have Anshin, a man addicted to kisses. And we just had this compilation of Anshin kissing or getting kissed by trainees. Like, what the hell? The question this time was, which trainee did you kiss, or which trainee kissed you the most? What kind of question is this? Now Anshin, he heard this question and he said, this is my chance. He said, I'm so upset. Jahao has never kissed me before. So Jahao got pressured to kiss this man on screen for everyone to see. And then Anshin said, I'm so happy now. Anshin, you a little freaky. Up next, we have Kaiwen, who says that, why does Lisa Hao have to hug me for 5 minutes before he goes to bed and falls asleep? And then we saw this little shot of them mingling on that bed. Why were they on top of each other? But anyways, they seem very close, and Lisa Hao just says, oh, he's just so cute. Kaiwen really looks so dumb in the cutest way possible, if you know what I mean. Like a dumb puppy. The last one shown was Leo and his funny way of talking that all of the trainees are copying throughout the entire show. And we finally figured out who it came from. And we're just gonna skip this part because it was so awkward when they made Leo and Sangwon do a conversation in that weird talking voice. Finally, the top 8 candidates are revealed, and it's Yumeki and Sanghyun. And I was so surprised that Yumeki shot up this quickly. And back to my predictions way before the show started, I feel like Yumeki's one-pick fandom is coming in strong now. His Japanese fandom is very loyal and very big and very into streaming. But anyways, Sanghyun gets rank 8, Junso rank 7, and Shinlong rank 6. Shinlong, I really hope you debut. You cannot be dropping like this. At this point, I was only waiting for rank 5 because we all know who got rank 5 if you saw the spoilers, and of course, it was Jahao! This part was so cruel because every time they showed Hanim on screen, I was hurting because I knew what happened. Becca was giving hints for rank 5, and they were saying all the same things between Hanim and Jahao, and of course, Hanim was like, it's not me, and it was not you, Hanim! Gonu got rank 4, yes! Love that. You better debut. And he did his speech in Mandarin. I am so surprised. Last time it was English, this time it was Mandarin, and he really is trying to get all them global votes. You know what? You better get those Chinese votes because they will make sure you debut. His pronunciation was actually so good, and he is seriously a genius. He knows how to appeal to a lot of audiences. Plus, he wasn't even looking at his hand. You know, sometimes trainees look at their hand where they write stuff, or they have a note where some trainees look at a note and read off of it to say their speech. But Konu didn't do that at all. He literally memorized all of it and pronounced everything so good. How is that possible? Even the C trainees were impressed by his pronunciation. And then we have the top 3, and oh my god, I was so curious that I watched it at 2 times speed because if you know, you know, because Leo number 3, Anshin number 2, and Sangwon number 1. Again. Next. Rank 16 is the only place left, and the candidates are Masato, Ujin, and Hanum. I really wanted y'all to survive, but damn it. There was this shot of Hongyu, and it really looked like he just gave up on everything. He was looking like, what do I do now? And just staring into space. Rank 18 is Hanum, and he's eliminated. No. Masato is 17, eliminated, and we know the survivor is Ujin, who is number 16. It's time for the goodbyes, and there's Hongyu and Kangmin hugging each other, and Hongyu's crying and saying Hyung is sorry, and Hyungmin was like, no, you did good, and oh my goodness. It seems like they made up with each other, which I'm happy for that, but damn. That was a heartbreaking scene. And then we see the 7 remaining C trainees doing a little group huddle, and Hongyu was saying he's so glad that they met each other. And honestly, that's crazy. 80 C trainees, and now there's only 4 that survived. We went from 160 trainees to now 16, and only 8 will debut. That is really so messed up. The Produce series had 101 trainees, and they debuted 11 members in IOI, in WANA 1, in X1, and 12 members in IZ 1. And then for the Planet series, we have Girls Planet. They had 98 trainees, and they debuted 9 for Kepler. And Boys Planet Season 1, they had 98, and they debuted 9 for Zero Base 1. But this season, 160, and they're only debuting 8 8? That is so messed up. The biggest contestant pool in the smallest group to debut ever. The next morning, we see the trainees doing an interview, and then there's a fight that starts outside of the interview room. They were slamming each other into the door and yelling, and all the trainees that were being shown were like, what? If I was a trainee and I was them, I would also be like, what the hell do I do? Do I intervene and possibly have that staff spread a bad rumor about me and then I get canceled and ruined and my career is over? Or I have 0 screen time and then I get eliminated? Or do I intervene and get hurt in the process and then still get kicked off the show? Either way, I see nothing good happening with intervening into breaking up a staff fight, so I would stay still just like them. It seems like nobody intervened in the fight. The fighting continues in the stairs, and as soon as I saw the body of the staff and the voice, it matched together immediately, and I was like, damn, I really watched too many survival shows because I knew immediately who it was. Ha Sung-hoon and Lee Do-hee from 101. I really missed 101. They were so committed to acting because why was Dae-wee on top of Sung-hoon and trying to fake fight him? All the trainees look so taken aback, and honestly, if a fight starts getting physical and no longer verbal, I would think somebody would try to stop it, but all of them were just watching. They should at least say something, but nobody said a single word. Why did all of them gather and just start watching the fight? And Jang Ja-hao, he brought his sandwich for breakfast to the fight and he was just munching on it while watching them. Like, what is going on? The way I cackled at that scene, it was just too funny. Hearing the fight outside, Kangmin rushes into Konu's room and says, Konu, go stop that fight! Woojin was also in the room and both of them were telling him to go out there and stop the fight. And I was like thinking, why do they think that Konu can stop the fight? Because what makes him be the one to go to for fights? Interesting. Konu says he's scared and then he goes outside and he's like, oh, the alpha wolf is coming out. And then 101 starts playing energetic and they start dancing and everyone realizes it's a prank. Dae-wee said, we know you guys are stressed, so we did this to make you laugh. I'm sorry, but who would laugh at that? If I was them and I thought it was really staff fighting, I would be so scared. But anyways, on to the finale mission. Starting with the lowest ranked trainee, they have to choose the song and the parts that they want. And of course, the higher ranking ones will push them off if they want the same part. And if they get pushed off, they have to wait until the end to get another part. Woojin goes for sub-vocal 5 in Never Been to Heaven, and honestly, I just don't understand that at all. He says he's scared of being pushed off, so that's why he went for number 5. Okay, if I was a low-ranking trainee, I would go specifically for a part that I know I will get pushed off for, because Mnet might give me some screen time. Like, if I was Woojin, I would have went for, like, main rapper or something. And then we see that Kai-wen wanted sub-rapper 1 in Brat Attitude because there was this chest-popping part that he just did. And he's like, oh, it's so cool, I want it. Leo chose sub-vocal 1 for Never Been to Heaven. And he says that he wants to do a cutesy song because all the other songs that he did were like dark and heavy and sexy. And honestly, okay, alright, I guess. But he went for sub-vocal 1 and not main vocal, which I think is so strange. But he said that he knew Anshin was going to get main vocal, so whatever, I guess. All of the trainees were playing it so safe, and it was a very boring selection. After everyone was done choosing, guess what was remaining? Main vocal in Brat Attitude. Are you kidding me? This is like the first I've ever seen on a survival show during the finale mission where the trainees purposefully avoid a main position. A main position that has, I don't know, the most lines, the most screen time, and the possibility of having people see you, but everybody avoided it because guess what? We have like 0 main vocals left. We have maybe Anshin, and then there's Leo and Woojin who can be main vocals. That's like it. Hanum was eliminated, Hongyu eliminated, Yoonmin eliminated. Who is left to sing? Like, what is going on? So guess what happens? Chun Kai-wen gets main vocal. Are you kidding me? That is so stupid. I'm sorry, but he was forced to be main vocal, and that is the craziest sentence ever. Forced to be main vocal in the finale mission. And Kaiwin says he has never been main vocal in his life. And to be honest, I have never heard him sing. He's just been rapping. I don't even know if he can sing like a main vocal. Maybe he will pull it off and blow everybody away and then suddenly debut. I don't know. We are on to the practice for the teams, and Mnet just has to promote their little collaboration with Wakuku or whatever Labubu ripoff it is that they have with Boys to Planet. And there's the little dolls, and the Heaven team says, oh, let's give it a name. And they named the thing 8 Fingers, and they shortened it to Epingy. That is disgusting. So gross. I don't know why. It just makes me so uncomfortable. 8 Fingers? Epingy? No. So they decided on the leaders based on fake skits. And for brat attitude, candidate number 1 is Shinlong. And he says he would be a kind leader. He would give you a blanket and a pillow if you feel like you need to rest. And then after 5 minutes, we gotta go back to practice. Candidate number 2, we have Yumeki. And he says, I will give you snacks. That's right. We're gonna practice efficiently and I will give you snacks if you feeling down. Guess who won? Snacks. Yeah, that's right. Yumeki won the leader, and Sanghyun says, I picked Yumeki because he would give me snacks. Are you kidding me? Moving on to Team Heaven, Junmin is the only candidate for leader, which I think it's his first time being leader, which is okay, great, something new. And we also have skits because, of course, why not? Konu is fighting with Kangmin, who is insecure about his height. And then Lee-jung says, but it's true, you're a short king. End scene. Take 2. And action. Konu says, I told you to eat your damn vitamins to get taller. And they're about to like throw a fist. And then Junmin, he's just in the back, far away. And he's like, okay. And he tells Ujin to stop Konu from advancing onto Kangmin. Now, after seeing Junmin do absolutely nothing to stop the fight, the staff says, you have like no skills. You're not capable for this. There was a third and final take, but Junmin failed again. So basically he failed all the tests, but he still got leader. So there you go. Finally, we are nearing the end of the episode, and the trainees are doing a peer review to decide who will be the 2 candidates for killing parts in both of the teams. And the killing part will be chosen by the star creators. The test for the brat attitude team ends, and the team regroups, and Shinlong says, oh my god, my brain is like an old man, an elderly person. I don't have the memory for this. He said his brain doesn't function while pointing to his frontal lobe. Because he forgot the choreo mid-dancing and he messed up his audition for the killing part. And the Korean members, hearing him call himself an old man, were busting out laughing, and the foreigners were just like, what? Jahao and Yumeki are the candidates. I think Yumeki will win the killing part because his fandom is just way stronger and his fandom was there since the beginning. Whereas Jahao, his fandom is like just starting to come up. Next is the killing part for Heaven team. I am dying watching Leo because the way he danced the killing part was like a clown. I don't know what he was doing. There was no way he was being serious. If he was, I'm so sorry, Leo, but you sucked. You looked terrible. Even the trainees were laughing at him because the way he danced was wild. Now, Anshin and Kangmin are the candidates for the killing part, and I'm not sure who will win, but it's probably gonna be Anshin. And then we got this shot of Kangmin trying to punch Anshin. Oh my god. And then Anshin was just bowing. I'm kidding. Anshin, you are so smart for that. You can tell that the trainees had absolutely no time to practice for the killing part because so many of them messed up during the audition. That's how you know they are on a crunch time. So the episode is over and the finale is so close. I cannot believe we are here already. I am praying for my picks to survive. Y'all keep voting. Don't forget to vote. Side note, if you did not know, Mnet is planning to release a Boys to Planet C spin-off containing some of the trainees who are on Planet C. Because the plans are to debut a full Chinese group to debut in China, and the show is supposed to be released in 2026, which is honestly so stupid because the original plans for Boys to Planet was to have 2 planets, 2 survival shows airing at the exact same time to have 2 debut groups. But Mnet suddenly just decided to merge everything into one, and now they want to do 2 shows again. This is so stupid and rude to all the Chinese trainees. that were on the show. C Planet trainees, they signed up for one survival show and now they have two. But anyways, if you did not know, Hanwen is confirmed to be on the show because fans asked him if he would be participating and he said yes. So it seems like the show is actually happening if it doesn't get canceled. Anyways, we don't know what will happen. I just can't believe they have to go through another survival show. That's a contract scam or something because wait, that's actually so true. How did they navigate that contract? They signed up for Boys to Planet C, but suddenly they were merged into Boys to Planet K. So weird. Y'all, don't forget to vote! Bye! The next time I talk, there will be a debut group and a debut name. Alpha 1. Welcome to the finale of Boys to Planet, episode 11. We are finally at the end of this damn show. This was truly a rough journey. Now the episode opens with Kim Jae-jung, who is the special MC for tonight, and he was a special master for Planet C. We all know how that went. Kim Jae-jung says, "It is the birth of a new boy group with a romantic and energetic vibe." I did not know this was the vibe that the boy group would be debuting into. Hopefully that's not their concept. It sounds like in hyphen for some reason. This is the first time I've heard such a description for the debut boy group. Of course, as the tradition goes, we have this signal song performance, and I was expecting a big bang from the start, and I was looking at the stage, and there was only 16 trainees performing. If you have ever watched a previous mnet survival show, you will know that during the finale, they usually bring in the eliminated contestants, and they perform together for the signal song. And it's usually filled to the brim and it looks full and happy. And for this season, it's only the 16 finalists. Mnet really said, we're gonna save money. Then we move on to the final interviews with the trainees. And out of all of them, Dongyu really hit me in the heart with what he said. He says, "Hello, I'm Park Dongyu. And I made it to the finals by hanging on to the single last shred of my dream. As a trainee, we have to keep rebuilding a sandcastle that is destined to crumble over and over again to make ourselves stronger." That is a crazy line. Wow, what a poet. He really killed me with that. Dongyu, I really wish you the best. Back to the auditorium, and let me tell you, my breath stopped when I saw Hanum on screen with his beautiful blonde hair looking like an angel descended from heaven. Jesus Christ, he is so beautiful. Hanum went viral on Twitter because of his amazing visuals. Seriously? Jesus. Moving along, we have the tradition of the trainees gifting the masters some letters and a present. And specifically this season, I am side-eyeing the masters so hard, except for Kani and Hyorin. We love them, but the other ones, And bless Konu and Dongyu for drawing that ugly-ass meme of Sokun because he deserved it. Literally, why did he glare at He Jongxing like that? Side note, why is Junso always the MC for everything? Like, in all the missions, he's always the one who's leading the conversation. And I'm like, well, did they choose him, Mnet, specifically for this? Now we see the final practice evaluations, and they always get positive feedback this time. Not a single mean thing escapes those mentors' mouths. This happens every finale, which I guess is a good thing. Gotta give them some confidence before the final performance. Of course, now is the moment we have all been waiting for, the group's debut name. I was having a little bit of hope, just to have hope, and that maybe this would be a good group name, like Eyes1 or X1. And we got Alpha Drive 1, shortened to Aldi1. I seriously was not expecting that. This is criminal activity. The creative team seriously needs to be kimchi slapped with something. Aldi, the German grocery store, they don't have those in Korea. So maybe the creative team just did not know the correlation. But I would assume that they would, search it up to see if the name is searchable or if it matches with any other existing groups. So I would assume that they know Aldi exists. But anyways, I hate that there is a space between each word. Alpha Drive 1. Why can't they just shove it all together into one word? Soon Hyung-yu's face hearing the group name is everybody's face. And also we got Seokhoon, the vocal master, laughing his ass off hearing the name. We had a little interview with the masters and One Star was talking and you could see Connie in the back trying not to laugh and holding it in. Like it was just too much. And it honestly killed me when they were doing a little drive movement and every time One Star had to enunciate Alpha Drive 1. Next, we have the Brat Attitude team going on an excursion, and they're going bungee jumping. They were told to do something that matches the attitude of the song. I don't know how extreme sports are bratty, but here we are. I swear I've seen that exact same bungee jumping spot in so many of different idols' content. Now it's onto their performance, and Jahao is the killing part. Of course, they all sounded good. It was a recording, there were no live vocals, but we did see Chun Kai-win's main vocal part. His vocals sounded very good, surprisingly, though I don't know if he could do it live. Now the song itself was kind of poopy. It was not giving amazing, something I would re-listen to, like Hot Summer from season 1. And next is the Never Been to Heaven team. They went to some pension in the woods to take pictures and write poetry and relax because they were told to do something that matches the concept of their song, and they went with healing. They focused on the heaven part because I was imagining some Lotte World adventure theme park because the song is so upbeat and happy, but they went with Zen meditation mode. We also saw this team in the recording studio, and I was like, why did they just show only this team in the recording studio? And it turns out it's because one of the producers was Abby from Saja Boys in the K-pop Demon Hunters movie. And he said for this song, the singing style is a homage to Michael Jackson. What? I did not expect that at all. The performance starts, and I thought it was Kangmin, but then he moved to his side, and it was Anshin. Anshin got the killing part. The choreography was just not it, because it made me giggle every single time they did the little hand movements. The song is really whatever. Usually after hearing the finale songs, I'm praying for a day when the debut group has a chance to perform these songs again, like Jelly Pop for Zero Base One. But for these finale songs, I hope they leave them in the dust, never again to be seen. Now tell me why Chunbei made an appearance in the finale. The damn dog. They got the trainees making treats for Chunbei. All of the snacks they made looked like butt crack, except for the puppuccino. I don't know why I've never seen a single idol who's good at decorating food. Like, I've never seen a pretty cake before. Afterwards, we get the special judges who will evaluate them for their final practice. And it turns out the special judges were the eliminated trainees. And instead of evaluating them, they wrote letters to cheer them up for the finale. Lee Yu read Zehao's letter to Shinlong, which said, "I really hate you, do you know that? So don't come back and just debut in Korea." True friendship goals. Which transitions us to the sad goodbye song of the finale called How to Fly. But the song was not emotional like I was expecting at all. It was kind of sultry, and I don't want to say sexy, but it was kind of sexy vibes. Especially in the beginning with the shot of Sangwon and the giant wings in the background and the rap that started off the song. I was like, what? Usually the intro of the song gives the vibe of the entire song, of course. And they started off with that. It's supposed to be an emotional, goodbye song. We're saying farewell to the entire show, and this is how it starts. Instead of, wow, it's the end of our journey and we're reminiscing all the memories we made together, it was, oh, I'm so sexy, yes. The Produce 101 series had the most beautiful and heart-wrenching finale songs ever. Literally nothing can beat them. When the Cherry Blossoms Fade for IOI and As We Dream for Eyes One, literally those two songs kill me. Those songs are so emotional and the lyrics literally convey the message of reminiscing about the memories we made together and how we're gonna dream and move on, and God, nothing can compare. You need to go and listen to those songs and watch the finale performances of those seasons if you have not, because they really are on another level. Next is the pajama party with all the trainees laying together on the floor, sleeping together, and I hope they don't actually sleep there, but who knows. A funny moment happens when Lee-jung was getting attacked by pillows, and he said, "Damn it, I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna make some space for the debut spots. I'm gonna break some legs." It was cute. And then Kang Min started smelling his own feet, and Lee-jung said they smelled like durian, and I'm like, what was going on? So that ends the pajama party, and we are 2 hours and 40 minutes into the finale when we finally get to the announcements of the rankings. I'm sure you all know the debut lineup, so let's just go through 1 through 7 for now. Of course, Sangwon, Anshin, He Shin-leung, Konu, Jang Ja-hao, Leo, and Sang-hyun. Jang Ja-hao getting 5th was so unexpected for me. I really was like, wow, because he was able to keep his rank, and his miracle happened right at the end of the show. So he is a miracle. And he beat the first seat curse, because usually all the trainees that were shown sitting in the first seat on the first episode of the survival show never makes it to the end. But for the first time ever, Jang Ja-hao made it. And of course, Sang-won never lost his place as number 1 throughout the entire season, which I think is a first for a survival show trainee on Mnet. So many trainees were crying out of happiness for Ja-hao, and he really is loved. Then we have Shin-leung's speech for number 3, which destroyed me and made me laugh and cry at the same time. The way he was mumbling his speech, it was just adorable, and you could tell he was like breaking down, but trying not to break down, and it was something. The way he said thank you to his 11-year-old self for choosing this path to becoming an idol really struck me in the heart. And then we got Lee Za-hao breaking down, bawling and crying. He got everybody emotional in that damn studio. Sebi from ISNA and Jisung from 101, he got everybody's hearts right there. Finally, we have the last debut spot, number 8. They showed 3 candidates, Kangmin, Liu, and Junso. Already, Kangmin and Liu were barely holding it together. They had tears in their eyes. And at this point, I was mourning for Junmin, Dongyu, and Kang Woo-jin. And I was thinking, it has to be Kangmin. Eliminated at rank 10 is Liu. And in his goodbye speech, he says, "Sang-yeon, I'm sorry I couldn't keep our promise of debuting together." And they both break down crying. Now we have Kangmin and Junso left. And I was thinking, oh god, it has to be Kangmin. I'm praying it's Kangmin. And I was not the only one praying, because Anshin was sitting there in his chair praying for Kangmin too. And it turns out the last member is Junso. I don't know why, but for me, Junso feels like he has built some very strong walls around him. Like he has to be perfect all the time. His name got called, he crouched down like the strength left his legs, and then he stood back up, started walking down that stage, and the tears were almost coming out of his eyeballs, and he reached the end, and his tears went right back into his body. He went back to being a statue. Not a single tear dropped from those eyeballs. The eliminated trainees were more emotional than him. I can already see the Junso stands coming for me saying, "You don't know Junso." Well, surprise, you don't know him either. I just need to see Junso being a human outside of Mnet's eyeballs. I was a fan of Wei because of Johan, because he was in X1, but I don't remember Junso's existence in the group at all. Anyways, I did see a fan cam of Junso, and he was crying while hugging Masato and the other trainees, so he finally let those tears out. But I just don't feel the desperation from him for this dream like I do from other trainees. Like Kangmin was breaking down even before his name was called to be eliminated. Now cue the signal song piano version, because it's time to say goodbye. The first thing Anshin does is run all the way down those steps, down that stage, and into the arms of Kangmin while crying. And this was the moment a fan site caught a poster of a movie, because it was crazy beautiful and sad. The studio lights turn off and everybody screams, because it has to be the additional Alpha members announcement. Nope, it's Mnet promoting Planet C Home Race, which is set to premiere December 6th, and it has 4 episodes, so it's going to end before the last week of 2025. What the hell? I honestly can't believe there were no extra members. Seriously, everybody was thinking there was going to be alpha members that were going to be called, but of course not. Mnet would never. Cruel, cruel, cruel. They really trashed Planet C, only to bring it back 6 months later. Overall, I'm a little ooh about the debut lineup. But I'll get over it, like after every single survival show, and eventually come to love all the members, or be neutral. Give it a good minute, like 2 weeks, and all the people that are bitter about the lineup will move on, and the new fans will start rolling in, and everything will be better. It happens after every survival show, so it will be fine. I just pray the music is good and that Wake One doesn't force them into this alpha concept music. Something that I feel is missing from this group is a member who loves ballads. A member that has the voice of a person who got divorced 3 times and stabbed in the back by friends. You know what I'm saying. Eyes One, we had Yuri. Kepler has Cheon. And Zero Base One has Tere. Alpha Drive One has... and silence. No one. I am a ballad lover. I am an emotional song lover. And all the members of this group are hip hop sexy dudes. I don't think none of them are into ballads. I mean, of course, Leo could pull off a ballad with his voice, but I don't think any of them are into that genre, which is kind of sad because usually there's at least one member who's my go-to ballad emotional song member. But we'll see if any of them are actually like that. I doubt it. My favorite part after Survival Show ends is seeing the awkward phase of the debut group. You can literally watch the trainees grow closer together in real time. Because for K-pop groups that debut in the normal way, usually the trainees are together for years and you already see them in their perfect form. But for Survival Show groups, you have to see them get together real quick because their contract is super short. But for Alpha Drive 1, their contract is supposed to be 5 years, which is almost like a regular K-pop group. So I guess they have some time to get close. Hopefully the group chemistry starts blooming. Overall, Boys to Planet was disappointing and frustrating, but there were some funny and good moments. It's over for now, before December comes. I will miss the trainees dearly, and I seriously hope that all of them can debut someday. Maybe a miracle will happen, and Flare, the project fan group that is going around, will debut. Who knows? Sometimes it happens, like even from the first season. Thank you to everyone who spent your precious time watching my recap series. I'm very grateful for that. And goodbye. If you aren't on Twitter, you really should be on Twitter because that is where everything is happening. You are missing out on so much fun Boys to Planet content, especially with all the eliminated trainees. They're going around visiting cafes and talking with fans in person. There's a lot of stuff going on. So if you're missing the trainees, get on Twitter. You'll always see something crazy. Also, not to mention, there was a person who is spoiling that the roommates for Alpha Drive 1 are already out. And I was seeing that tweet and I was thinking, how in the hell do they already know? They really have a stalker or a terrible staff member who is leaking everything. And that person needs to get fired because this is very scary. Hopefully the rumors about the roommates aren't true. But if it is, call the police.